Good evening. Tonight we explore the world of Dragon Ball, a tale of adventure, friendship, and the endless pursuit of strength through martial arts mastery. Let yourself relax as we delve deep into this whimsical universe of mystical orbs, ancient martial arts, and a pure-hearted boy whose journey will span from childhood innocence to becoming Earth's greatest protector. Before you begin drifting off to sleep, do consider subscribing to the channel for more anime sleep stories. There are many more of your favorite anime worlds to peacefully explore together. And now, on with our story. Our tale begins in the peaceful wilderness of Mount Paozu, where a young boy named Goku lives alone in a modest house. This extraordinary child possesses a monkey tail and strength far beyond his years, though he remains blissfully unaware of his mysterious origins. Goku's only companion is the memory of his beloved grandfather, Gohan, who raised him from infancy and taught him the values of kindness and respect for all living things. The old man had perished in a tragic accident, leaving Goku with only a mysterious 4-star ball as a keepsake, a glowing orange orb that the boy treasures above all else, believing it contains his grandfather's spirit. Goku's simple life changes forever when a blue-haired teenage girl crashes into his world, quite literally. Bulma Brief, daughter of the renowned Capsule Corporation, arrives in her car whilst searching for an object of legend. Her vehicle collides with the unsuspecting Goku, who survives the impact without injury, much to her amazement. This remarkable boy, who mistakes her vehicle for some sort of monster, soon learns that his precious 4-star ball is actually one of 7 mystical Dragon Balls scattered across the earth. Bulma explains the incredible legend to the bewildered Goku. When all 7 Dragon Balls are gathered together, they summon an eternal dragon named Shenron, who will grant any single wish before the balls scatter once again across the planet. The genius inventor has created a remarkable device called the Dragon Radar, capable of detecting these magical spheres wherever they might be hidden. She desperately wants to collect them all, to wish for the perfect boyfriend, though her materialistic desires seem trivial compared to the ball's true power. Initially reluctant to part with his grandfather's memento, Goku eventually agrees to accompany Bulma on her quest when she promises to help him find more Dragon Balls and learn about the world beyond his mountain home. Their unlikely partnership begins with Bulma's complete underestimation of the dangers they will face and Goku's innocent enthusiasm for adventure. Their first major encounter comes in the form of a desert bandit named Yamcha, accompanied by his loyal, shape-shifting companion, Puar. This skilled fighter initially seeks to rob the travelers, but becomes flustered whenever he encounters women, particularly the confident Bulma. Despite his fearsome reputation in the desert wastelands, Yamcha harbors deep insecurities about his ability to interact with the opposite sex, making him more sympathetic than truly villainous. During their confrontation, Goku demonstrates his incredible martial arts prowess, having been trained by his grandfather in techniques that seem almost supernatural. The boy can leap tremendous heights, possesses strength capable of moving boulders, and shows an instinctive understanding of combat that belies his innocent demeanor. Yamcha, despite his own considerable skills as a Wolf Fang-style fighter, finds himself outmatched by this strange child. As their journey progresses, the group encounters Oolong, a shape-shifting pig who has been terrorizing a small village by disguising himself as a fearsome monster. This cowardly creature's transformations are limited in duration, and his true nature is far less intimidating than his assumed forms. Through clever thinking rather than brute force, Bulma manages to outwit Oolong and recruit him to their cause, though his motivations remain purely self-serving. The Dragon Ball quest leads them to Fire Mountain, where the legendary Ox King rules over a castle surrounded by magical flames. This massive warrior, despite his intimidating appearance, proves to be an old friend of Goku's grandfather, having trained under the same martial arts master decades earlier. The Ox King's daughter, Chi-Chi, is introduced as a skilled young fighter in her own right, though she immediately takes a romantic interest in the oblivious Goku. The magical fire surrounding their castle was accidentally created during a martial arts training session gone wrong, trapping many of their possessions inside. To extinguish these flames, they need the Bashosen fan, which belongs to their old master, the Turtle Hermit. This legendary figure, known as Master Roshi, lives alone on a small island with his turtle companion and possesses incredible power despite his elderly appearance. Master Roshi agrees to help extinguish the flames in exchange for viewing Bulma's undergarments, revealing his perverted nature that contrasts sharply with his status as a respected martial arts teacher. His power is truly remarkable. With a technique called the Kamehameha wave, he not only extinguishes the fire, but accidentally destroys the entire mountain and castle in the process. This display of energy manipulation awes the young Goku, who immediately begins practicing the technique himself. The Ox King's Dragon Ball is retrieved from the ruins, but their celebration is short-lived. The group soon encounters their most dangerous adversary yet, Emperor Pilaf, a diminutive blue-skinned creature with aspirations of world domination. Accompanied by his loyal henchmen Shu and Mai, Pilaf has been systematically gathering Dragon Balls to wish for global conquest. His elaborate castle fortress serves as a base for his operations, complete with sophisticated traps and mechanical defenses. Through a combination of cunning and unfortunate circumstances, Pilaf manages to acquire 6 of the 7 Dragon Balls, leaving our heroes trapped in his dungeon whilst he searches for the final sphere. The evil Emperor's personality is more comedic than truly menacing, his grandiose plans often undermined by his own incompetence and the bumbling nature of his subordinates. Nevertheless, his ambition to rule the world poses a genuine threat that must be stopped. During their imprisonment, Goku looks up at the full moon visible through their cell window. This celestial sight triggers an incredible transformation that none of them expect. The boy's innocent demeanor vanishes as his body grows to enormous proportions, sprouting thick brown fur and developing fangs. His monkey tail, which had seemed merely unusual before, now reveals its true significance as Goku becomes a giant ape known as an Uzaru. In this transformed state, Goku possesses tremendous destructive power but loses all rational thought, becoming a mindless beast driven by instinct. The great ape smashes through Pilaf's castle walls as if they were paper, inadvertently freeing his companions whilst terrifying them with his savage behavior. Yamcha, drawing upon knowledge of ancient legends, explains that the transformation can be reversed by removing the tail or destroying the moon's image. Puar shapeshifts into a pair of scissors and cuts off Goku's tail, immediately reverting him to his normal child form with no memory of his transformation. The exhausted boy awakens confused about the destruction around him, having no recollection of his monstrous alter ego. Meanwhile, Emperor Pilaf's plans lie in ruins along with his fortress, though the diminutive dictator vows revenge whilst fleeing in his mechanical suit. With all 7 Dragon Balls finally gathered, albeit briefly, the eternal dragon Shenron appears in a magnificent display of divine power. The massive serpentine creature, with glowing red eyes and an aura of ancient wisdom, grants Oolong's hastily made wish for a pair of panties, rather than allowing Pilaf to achieve world domination. This comedic resolution frustrates both the heroes and villains, but prevents global catastrophe whilst demonstrating that the Dragon Balls respond to whoever speaks first, regardless of their intentions. The Dragon Balls scatter across the earth once again, becoming inert stones for an entire year before regaining their power. Our companions part ways for the time being, with Bulma returning to civilization, whilst Goku seeks out new adventures and stronger opponents to test his growing abilities. The boy's appetite for combat and self-improvement has been awakened by his experiences, setting him on a path that will define his entire future. Months pass before Goku's travels lead him to the bustling streets of a large city, where he discovers posters advertising the World Martial Arts Tournament. This prestigious competition, held every 5 years, attracts the strongest fighters from around the globe to compete for prize money and the title of world champion. The innocent boy's excitement at the prospect of facing powerful opponents compels him to enter, despite having no understanding of modern urban life or tournament procedures. The registration process proves challenging for someone who has lived in isolation, but Goku's pure heart and obvious sincerity win over the officials. His rustic appearance and childlike enthusiasm draw attention from other competitors, many of whom underestimate his abilities based on his small stature and innocent demeanor. However, seasoned fighters recognize something unusual in his bearing, a natural confidence that suggests considerable hidden strength. Among the participants, several stand out as serious contenders. Nam, a stoic warrior from a drought-stricken village, fights to win the prize money and purchase water for his dying community. His noble motivations contrast with those seeking personal glory or fortune. Jiran, a massive dinosaur-like creature with incredible physical strength, represents the tournament's more exotic participants. Ranfan, a skilled female fighter who uses her feminine wiles as a tactical advantage, demonstrates that strength comes in many forms. The tournament's preliminary rounds reveal Goku's extraordinary abilities to a wider audience. His innocent approach to combat, combined with devastating effectiveness, confuses opponents who expect conventional fighting techniques. The boy treats each match as an opportunity to learn and improve, rather than simply to win, displaying remarkable sportsmanship that endears him to spectators, whilst frustrating competitors who mistake his kindness for weakness. During these early matches, Goku encounters Krillin, a young monk whose diminutive stature matches his own, but whose personality differs considerably. This bald-headed youth, trained in the traditional Orin Temple fighting style, initially views Goku as competition to be eliminated. However, their similar backgrounds as outsiders seeking to prove themselves creates an immediate bond that transcends their competitive relationship. The tournament's most intriguing participant proves to be Jackie Chun, an elderly martial artist whose flowing white hair and imposing presence suggest considerable experience and skill. This mysterious fighter watches Goku's early performances with particular interest, displaying knowledge of techniques and fighting principles that hint at deeper connections to the boy's past. His true identity remains hidden beneath a carefully constructed persona, though observant spectators notice similarities to other legendary figures in the martial arts world. As the preliminary rounds conclude and the main tournament bracket is announced, 8 fighters remain to compete for the championship. Goku's placement in this elite group confirms his status as a legitimate contender, though his youth and inexperience still make him an underdog against more seasoned warriors. The tournament organizers anticipate an exciting competition, though none suspect the true level of power that some participants possess. The first match pairs Krillin against a massive opponent whose size advantage seems overwhelming. However, the young monk's speed and technical precision allow him to overcome brute strength through superior tactics and timing. His victory establishes that physical size means little when faced with properly applied martial arts knowledge, a lesson that resonates throughout the remaining competition. Goku's own first match demonstrates his incredible natural ability whilst revealing gaps in his formal training. His opponent, a seasoned fighter with decades of experience, initially dominates through superior technique and ring awareness. However, the boy's remarkable adaptability allows him to learn and counter his opponent's strategies within the span of a single match. This rapid improvement under pressure suggests potential that extends far beyond his current abilities. The tournament progresses through its bracket elimination format, with each successive round increasing in intensity and spectacle. Name's matches showcase his disciplined traditional style, whilst Jiran relies on brute force and intimidation tactics. Jackie Chun's performances are masterful displays of classical martial arts, executed with precision that suggests decades of dedicated study and practice. As fighters are eliminated and the field narrows, the remaining competitors begin to understand that this tournament features truly exceptional talent. The casual spectators, who came expecting mere entertainment, witness displays of power and skill that border on the supernatural. Fighters move with speeds that blur their forms, strike with forces that crack stone blocks, and demonstrate techniques that seem to defy conventional understanding of human limitations. Goku's continued advancement through the tournament creates considerable excitement amongst both spectators and fellow competitors. His unorthodox fighting style, combining incredible natural ability with techniques learned from his grandfather's training, proves effective against opponents who have spent years perfecting traditional forms. The boy's enthusiasm for combat, coupled with his complete lack of malice towards defeated opponents, wins admirers throughout the arena. The semi-final rounds feature matchups that exceed everyone's expectations for excitement and technical excellence. Goku faces Nam, whose noble motivations and disciplined technique create a compelling contrast to the boy's intuitive approach. Their battle showcases different philosophies of martial arts. Nam's structured, purposeful style against Goku's adaptive, instinctive method. Nam's aerial technique, the cross-arm dive, initially catches Goku off guard with its speed and precision. The attack from above exploits the boy's inexperience with formal tournament fighting, nearly securing victory through tactical superiority. However, Goku's remarkable recovery ability and creative counterattack demonstrate why natural talent can sometimes overcome years of disciplined training. Their match concludes with Goku's victory, but the boy's immediate concern for his defeated opponent reveals his character. Rather than celebrating his advancement to the finals, Goku ensures that Nam receives the prize money needed for his village's water supply. This gesture of generosity establishes Goku as more than merely a powerful fighter. He embodies the martial arts ideals of using strength to help others. The tournament final pits Goku against Jackie Chun in a battle that pushes both fighters to their absolute limits. The mysterious elderly martial artist reveals techniques and knowledge that suggest connections to legendary figures, whilst Goku's performance demonstrates potential that amazes even seasoned observers. Their contest becomes more than a competition for prize money. It represents a clash between traditional martial arts mastery and raw, developing talent. Jackie Chun's experience shows in his tactical approach and energy conservation, whilst Goku's stamina and adaptability keep him competitive despite being technically outclassed. The match extends far beyond normal tournament durations, with both fighters pushing themselves to previously unexplored limits. Their battle demonstrates techniques including energy projection, after-image creation, and combat speeds that strain spectators' ability to follow the action. The climax of their confrontation features Jackie Chun's ultimate technique, the Kamehameha wave that Goku recognizes from Master Roshi's demonstration at Fire Mountain. However, the boy's quick learning ability has allowed him to develop his own version of the energy attack, leading to a dramatic clash of opposing forces that illuminates the entire arena. Their energy beams collide in mid-air, creating a spectacular display that amazes the entire audience. The sustained clash tests both fighters' endurance and will, with Jackie Chun's superior experience initially giving him the advantage. However, Goku's remarkable power reserves keep his technique stable, even as fatigue begins affecting both combatants. The beam struggle ultimately proves inconclusive, with both attacks dissipating simultaneously and leaving the fighters exhausted but determined to continue. Jackie Chun recognizes that conventional techniques will not be sufficient to defeat his young opponent, whilst Goku begins to understand the true depth of martial arts mastery that lies ahead of him. Their battle resumes with hand-to-hand combat that showcases the fundamental differences in their fighting philosophies. Jackie Chun employs classical techniques refined through decades of study, each movement efficient and purposeful. Goku responds with an instinctive style that adapts moment by moment, combining his grandfather's teachings with innovations born from immediate necessity. The match reaches its conclusion through a combination of skill, endurance, and circumstance. Jackie Chun's sleepy boy technique, a hypnotic martial art that induces drowsiness in opponents, nearly secures victory by causing Goku to fall asleep mid-combat. However, Bulma's shouted mention of dinner awakens the food-obsessed boy just before the final count, demonstrating how his simple pleasures can overcome even sophisticated martial arts techniques. With both fighters approaching their absolute limits, the contest becomes a test of pure will and determination. Jackie Chan's superior technical knowledge battles against Goku's inexhaustible fighting spirit, creating a spectacle that transcends mere athletic competition. The audience witnesses what appears to be the passing of one generation's mastery to the next, though the outcome remains uncertain until the final moments. The tournament concludes with Jackie Chan's narrow victory, achieved through experience and tactical thinking, rather than overwhelming power. Goku's defeat proves educational rather than discouraging, as the boy recognizes how much he still needs to learn about martial arts. His gracious acceptance of second place and eagerness to continue training demonstrate the character traits that will define his future development. Jackie Chan's victory speech emphasizes the importance of continued training and self-improvement, themes that resonate deeply with Goku's own motivations. The mysterious champion disappears shortly after the ceremony, leaving behind questions about his true identity and connections to the martial arts community. Master Roshi's suspicious absence during the final match creates speculation amongst observant spectators, though the truth remains carefully hidden. The tournament's conclusion marks a significant milestone in Goku's development, transforming him from an isolated mountain boy into a recognized martial artist with tremendous potential. His second-place finish provides both confidence and motivation for future training, whilst his interactions with fellow competitors expand his understanding of the wider world beyond Mount Paozu. Following the tournament, Goku's priorities shift towards finding his grandfather's 4-star Dragon Ball, which was lost during the previous adventure with Emperor Pilaf. The Dragon Radar's destruction means locating the scattered spheres will require considerable time and effort, but the boy's determination remains unshaken. His quest takes on deeper meaning as he seeks to honor his grandfather's memory whilst continuing his martial arts journey. The search leads Goku through various adventures that test both his combat abilities and moral character. He encounters Nam's drought-stricken village and helps resolve their water crisis through direct action rather than relying on magical wishes. His assistance in breaking a criminal gang's dam demonstrates how martial arts can serve humanitarian purposes when applied with wisdom and compassion. During these travels, Goku's path crosses with Emperor Pilaf once again, though the diminutive dictator's latest scheme proves as ineffective as his previous attempts at world domination. Pilaf's flying fortress represents his continued ambition to acquire the Dragon Balls, but his incompetent execution and tendency towards elaborate rather than practical plans ensure his continued failure. However, a new and far more dangerous force begins to emerge during Goku's quest. The Red Ribbon Army, a sophisticated military organization with global reach and advanced technology, has also learned of the Dragon Ball's existence and power. Unlike Emperor Pilaf's comedic villainy, this organization represents a genuine threat to world peace, with resources and ruthlessness that dwarf previous adversaries. Commander Red, the army's diminutive leader, seeks the Dragon Balls for reasons that seem, at first glance, to involve world domination, though the truth behind his obsession is far smaller than anyone expects. His military background and tactical thinking make him a more formidable opponent than the bumbling Emperor Pilaf, whilst his organization's structure allows for sustained campaigns rather than single desperate schemes. The Red Ribbon Army's first major operation targets a small village where Goku has temporarily settled whilst continuing his search. Colonel Silver, a skilled boxer turned military officer, leads the assault with precision and overwhelming force. His reputation for brutality and efficiency makes him a perfect representative of the army's methods, which prioritize results over humanitarian considerations. Goku's first encounter with Red Ribbon forces occurs during a peaceful moment when he is interacting with local wildlife in a forest setting. The army's mechanized units begin clearing the area with flamethrowers and explosives, showing complete disregard for environmental damage or the creatures that live there. This callous destruction of natural beauty immediately establishes them as enemies in Goku's mind. The boy's intervention saves numerous animals and plants from destruction, but also reveals his presence to Colonel Silver's forces. Their initial assumption that a child poses no threat proves catastrophically wrong, as Goku demonstrates combat abilities far exceeding their expectations. His defensive battle against armed soldiers showcases how martial arts training can overcome technological advantages when applied with sufficient skill and determination. Colonel Silver's personal confrontation with Goku escalates the conflict beyond mere skirmishes between foot soldiers and an unusual boy. The military officer's boxing expertise, enhanced by his ruthless nature and tactical thinking, creates a genuine challenge for Goku's growing abilities. Their battle represents the first time the boy faces an opponent who combines significant skill with malicious intent. The fight takes place across varied terrain as Silver attempts to use environmental advantages and military equipment to overcome Goku's superior natural abilities. Helicopters, tanks, and armed soldiers provide support for the Colonel's assault, demonstrating the Red Ribbon Army's willingness to commit substantial resources to eliminating threats to their operations. Goku's victory over Colonel Silver and his forces establishes him as a significant enemy in the Red Ribbon Army's assessment. However, his youth and apparently isolated nature lead them to underestimate the broader implications of his interference. They view him as a local obstacle to be overcome, rather than a fundamental threat to their entire organization. The battle's aftermath leaves Goku with increased awareness of the dangers posed by the Red Ribbon Army's ambitions. His encounters with their forces reveal an organization that combines advanced technology with complete moral flexibility, making them unlike any adversary he has previously faced. Their systematic approach to achieving goals contrasts sharply with Emperor Pilaf's chaotic schemes. During his continued search for Dragon Balls, Goku encounters other Red Ribbon operations and begins to understand the scope of their activities. Their global reach and military precision suggest resources that dwarf those of typical criminals or small-time villains. The Army's ability to operate in multiple locations simultaneously indicates planning and coordination that pose threats beyond any single confrontation. The discovery of a Red Ribbon base hidden within Muscle Tower, an enormous fortified structure in a frigid northern region, provides Goku with his first opportunity to strike directly at the organization's infrastructure. The tower's imposing appearance and strategic location demonstrate the Army's long-term planning and commitment to establishing permanent operational centers. Muscle Tower's design incorporates multiple floors, each presenting different challenges and obstacles for potential infiltrators. The Red Ribbon Army has populated these levels with various guardians and traps, creating a gauntlet that tests intruders' abilities whilst buying time for the base's defenders to organize their response. Goku's assault on Muscle Tower begins with his encounter with the guards at the base level, who significantly underestimate his capabilities. Their reliance on conventional weapons and tactics proves ineffective against someone whose speed and strength exceed normal human limitations. The boy's martial arts training allows him to neutralize armed opponents whilst minimizing unnecessary harm. The second floor introduces Major Metallitron, a sophisticated android designed to serve as the tower's primary defensive system. This mechanical guardian represents the Red Ribbon Army's technological capabilities and their willingness to employ artificial beings as soldiers. Metallitron's advanced construction and combat programming create a unique challenge that tests Goku's adaptability against non-biological opponents. The android's massive frame and mechanical precision initially provide significant advantages in their confrontation. Metallitron lacks the hesitation and emotional responses that affect human fighters, whilst his metal construction renders many conventional attacks ineffective. However, his rigid programming creates predictable patterns that Goku's quick learning ability can eventually exploit. Their battle showcases the contrast between artificial perfection and natural adaptability. Metallitron executes his combat routines flawlessly, but cannot adjust to unexpected strategies or unconventional attacks. Goku's creative fighting style, developed through instinctive responses rather than programmed algorithms, proves superior when facing an opponent who cannot truly adapt to changing circumstances. The android's defeat reveals one of his fundamental limitations, reliance on battery power that eventually depletes during extended combat. This practical weakness demonstrates that even advanced technology has constraints that skilled opponents can exploit. Goku's victory advances his understanding of how to face artificial enemies, whilst building confidence for the greater challenges ahead. The third floor of Muscle Tower presents Goku with Ninja Murasaki, a traditional martial artist whose stealth-based fighting style contrasts sharply with the direct approach favored by most Red Ribbon personnel. This skilled assassin employs classical ninja techniques, including shadow clones, explosive devices, and environmental manipulation, to create tactical advantages against opponents who expect conventional combat. Murasaki's initial attacks rely on misdirection and concealment, using the tower's architecture to launch surprise assaults from unexpected angles. His throwing stars and smoke bombs create confusion whilst he attempts to exploit openings in Goku's defenses. However, the boy's enhanced senses and instinctive combat awareness make him difficult to ambush, even by someone trained in the arts of stealth and deception. The ninja's shadow clone technique temporarily confuses Goku, who has never encountered opponents capable of creating multiple versions of themselves. Murasaki's ability to coordinate attacks from several directions simultaneously tests the boy's defensive capabilities, whilst demonstrating the sophisticated training available to elite Red Ribbon operatives. However, Goku's natural fighting instincts eventually identify the real attacker among the duplicates. Their battle evolves into a contest between traditional martial arts disciplines, with Murasaki's ninja techniques pitted against Goku's unique combination of his grandfather's teachings and natural ability. The ninja's reliance on tools and environmental advantages contrasts with Goku's preference for direct combat, creating an educational experience for both fighters as they adapt to unfamiliar opponents' styles. Murasaki's ultimate technique involves summoning his 4 identical brothers, all trained in the same ninja arts and capable of perfect coordination. This quintet assault represents the most dangerous challenge Goku has faced within the tower, as 5 skilled fighters attack simultaneously with predetermined strategies. Their teamwork and identical training create a formidable obstacle that tests the boy's ability to handle multiple opponents. However, Goku's remarkable speed and power allow him to overcome numerical disadvantages through superior individual capability. His ability to move faster than the ninjas can coordinate their attacks disrupts their team-based strategies, whilst his strength makes their weapons and techniques ineffective. The brothers' defeat demonstrates how exceptional natural ability can overcome even sophisticated tactical planning. The 4th floor introduces Android 8, a gentle artificial being whose peaceful nature contrasts sharply with Metallitron's aggressive programming. This sophisticated android was designed as the Red Ribbon Army's ultimate weapon, but his inherent goodness and refusal to harm innocent people made him unsuitable for military applications. His treatment by the army reveals their callous attitude towards their own creations when they fail to meet expectations. Android 8's enormous physical capabilities could make him nearly invincible in combat, but his moral programming prevents him from using violence except in defense of others. This ethical restriction creates a complex relationship with Goku, who recognizes the android's fundamental decency despite his association with the evil organization. Their interaction demonstrates how artificial beings can develop genuine emotions and moral reasoning. The android's nickname, Eta, given by Goku in his characteristic friendly manner, represents the boy's ability to see past surface appearances and recognize inner character. This friendship develops quickly as both characters share similar values regarding protection of the innocent and opposition to unnecessary violence. Their bond becomes crucial for navigating the tower's remaining challenges. The 5th floor features Buyon, a massive gelatinous creature whose unusual composition makes conventional attacks completely ineffective. This blob-like monster can absorb impacts and regenerate from damage whilst using its malleable form to engulf and suffocate opponents. Its presence in Muscle Tower represents the Red Ribbon Army's willingness to employ any means necessary to protect their operations, regardless of the creature's origins or nature. Goku's initial attempts to fight Buon using standard martial arts techniques prove completely useless, as the monster's body simply absorbs and disperses the impact of physical attacks. This forces the boy to think creatively about alternative approaches to combat, developing problem-solving skills that extend beyond mere fighting ability. His eventual solution involves using the tower's environment rather than direct confrontation. The discovery that extreme cold can solidify Bion's gelatinous form provides Goku with the key to victory, though implementing this strategy requires considerable ingenuity and risk. By breaking the tower's walls to expose the creature to frigid outside air, Goku transforms an seemingly invincible opponent into a brittle statue that can be shattered with a single blow. This victory demonstrates the importance of adaptability and environmental awareness in combat situations. Android 8's assistance proves crucial during this encounter, as his knowledge of the tower's structure and mechanical systems allows them to create the necessary conditions for defeating Buon. Their teamwork establishes a partnership that benefits both characters, with Goku providing courage and determination, whilst Eita contributes technical expertise and physical capability. The tower's upper levels bring them into direct confrontation with General White, the installation's commanding officer and a representative of the Red Ribbon Army's leadership philosophy. This ruthless military man embodies the organization's willingness to sacrifice anyone and anything in pursuit of their goals, showing particular cruelty in his treatment of both subordinates and prisoners. General White's tactical acumen and ruthless determination make him a more dangerous opponent than the tower's previous guardians, despite his lack of supernatural abilities or advanced technology. His military training and leadership experience allow him to coordinate the base's remaining defenses, whilst planning escape routes should the situation become untenable. The general's use of innocent villagers as human shields demonstrates the moral depths to which the Red Ribbon Army will sink to achieve victory. His willingness to threaten children and elderly civilians reveals character that contrasts sharply with Goku's heroic nature, establishing clear moral lines in their confrontation. This tactic also tests the boy's ability to protect others whilst pursuing his own objectives. Android 8's emotional response to General White's cruelty triggers his defensive programming, allowing the gentle android to overcome his peaceful nature when protecting innocent people. His destruction of the general represents a crucial character development moment, as Eita learns to balance his moral restrictions with the necessity of stopping truly evil actions. The collapse of Muscle Tower following General White's defeat provides a dramatic conclusion to Goku's first major assault on Red Ribbon infrastructure. The base's destruction eliminates a significant military asset while sending a clear message about the consequences of the army's actions. However, it also escalates the conflict and ensures that future encounters will involve increased Red Ribbon resources and determination. Goku's acquisition of the Dragon Ball hidden within Muscle Tower advances his quest, whilst demonstrating the army's similar objectives. The realization that both he and the Red Ribbon forces seek the same mystical objects adds urgency to his mission, as allowing the military organization to gather all 7 spheres would grant them unprecedented power. The friendship between Goku and Android 8 provides emotional resonance to the adventure, whilst establishing themes about the nature of consciousness and morality that extend beyond simple good versus evil conflicts. Eita's decision to remain in the northern village to protect its inhabitants demonstrates how artificial beings can choose their own paths and form genuine connections with others. Following his victory at Muscle Tower, Goku continues his search for Dragon Balls whilst remaining alert for additional Red Ribbon operations. His encounters with the army have revealed their global scope and sophisticated planning, making it clear that future confrontations will require greater preparation and strategic thinking. The boy's martial arts training continues during his travels, as each battle provides new insights into combat techniques and tactical applications. The search eventually leads Goku to West City, where he reunites with Bulma and her family at Capsule Corporation headquarters. This return to civilization provides opportunities for equipment repair and strategic planning, whilst demonstrating how his adventures have changed him. The city environment contrasts sharply with the wilderness settings of his recent battles, though urban areas present their own unique challenges and dangers. Bulma's technological expertise proves invaluable for repairing the damaged Dragon radar, though the process requires considerable time and resources. Her family's advanced laboratory facilities and scientific knowledge create an environment where sophisticated equipment can be properly maintained and upgraded. This technological support becomes increasingly important as the opposition grows more dangerous and well-equipped. During his stay in West City, Goku encounters Yamcha and his other companions from the original Dragon Ball quest, allowing for reunion scenes that demonstrate how their relationships have evolved. Yamcha's continued romantic pursuit of Bulma provides comedic relief whilst showing his character development from desert bandit to potential ally in future adventures. The peaceful interlude at Capsule Corporation is interrupted by Red Ribbon Army operations targeting Goku directly, as the organization has identified him as a significant threat requiring elimination. Their assault on the city facility demonstrates their willingness to attack civilian targets and their sophisticated intelligence-gathering capabilities. Husky, a professional thief hired by the Red Ribbon Army, attempts to steal the Dragon Balls through infiltration rather than direct confrontation. Her seductive appearance and apparent helplessness mask considerable combat skills and criminal expertise, making her a dangerous opponent who relies on deception rather than overwhelming force. This encounter teaches Goku about the varied forms that enemies can take. The thief's elaborate scheme involves luring Goku and his friends to an aerial amusement park where she can separate them and steal their Dragon Balls without witnesses. Her plan demonstrates sophisticated thinking and careful preparation, showing that Red Ribbon operatives can be subtle and patient when circumstances require such approaches. However, Husky's underestimation of Goku's abilities and moral character leads to her defeat when her bomb threatens innocent civilian lives. The boy's immediate prioritization of saving others over protecting his own interests reveals the heroic nature that will define his future actions. His intervention prevents a catastrophe whilst exposing the Red Ribbon Army's complete disregard for innocent lives. The amusement park incident escalates Goku's conflict with the Red Ribbon Army whilst demonstrating their reach into urban environments. Their ability to operate within major population centers suggests resources and connections that extend far beyond simple military capability, making them a threat to global security rather than merely regional stability. With the Dragon radar repaired and his companions safe, Goku resumes his quest with renewed urgency and improved equipment. His experiences with various Red Ribbon operations have provided valuable intelligence about their methods and objectives, whilst his growing combat abilities make him better prepared for future encounters. The search for Dragon Balls leads to encounters with General Blue, a powerful Red Ribbon officer whose psychic abilities and tactical genius make him one of their most dangerous operatives. His sophisticated training and supernatural powers represent a significant escalation in the opposition that Goku faces, requiring new strategies and techniques to overcome. General Blue's initial advantage comes from his psychic powers, which allow him to paralyze opponents and manipulate objects without physical contact. This ability catches Goku completely off guard during their first encounter, as his martial arts training provides no defense against mental attacks. The General's handsome appearance and apparent sophistication mask a cruel and narcissistic personality that enjoys inflicting suffering on helpless victims. Their confrontation takes place in an underwater cave system where an ancient pirate treasure lies hidden, providing an exotic battlefield that tests both fighters' adaptability to unusual environments. The submerged setting limits conventional fighting techniques, whilst creating additional hazards through restricted air supply and complex underwater currents. The discovery that General Blue's psychic powers weaken when he experiences fear or surprise provides Goku with a potential strategy for overcoming this supernatural advantage. However, exploiting this weakness requires careful timing and considerable courage, as any mistake could leave him permanently paralyzed and helpless. Their underwater battle showcases Goku's remarkable physical capabilities, as his enhanced lung capacity and swimming ability allow him to fight effectively in an environment that would disable most opponents. His adaptability to aquatic combat demonstrates how his training and natural abilities extend beyond terrestrial martial arts into new realms of possibility. The ancient submarine discovered within the cave system provides both fighters with advanced technology that changes the nature of their confrontation. General Blue's familiarity with military equipment gives him initial advantages, but Goku's quick learning ability allows him to master the vessel's controls and weaponry during the battle itself. The submarine battle escalates beyond personal combat, as both fighters attempt to use the vessel's advanced weapons systems against each other, whilst navigating treacherous underwater passages. General Blue's military training gives him tactical advantages in operating complex machinery, but Goku's instinctive understanding of combat principles allows him to adapt quickly to this technological warfare. The ancient vessel's torpedo systems and defensive capabilities transform their confrontation into a high-stakes chase through submerged caverns and underwater ruins. General Blue's attempts to destroy Goku using the submarine's firepower demonstrate his willingness to sacrifice historical treasures and archaeological sites for military objectives, showing the Red Ribbon Army's complete disregard for cultural heritage. Goku's creative use of the submarine's mobility and weapons systems reveals his growing tactical sophistication as he learns to think strategically rather than relying purely on physical prowess. His ability to anticipate General Blue's movements and counter his technological advantages shows significant character development from the simple mountain boy who began this adventure. The underwater battle's conclusion comes when General Blue's overconfidence and cruelty create opportunities for Goku to exploit. The General's decision to toy with his apparently helpless opponent rather than finishing him quickly allows the boy to recover and launch a counterattack that overcomes the psychic paralysis through sheer determination and willpower. General Blue's defeat in underwater combat forces him to abandon the submarine and pursue Goku through conventional means, though his psychic abilities remain dangerous in close-quarters fighting. Their chase through the cave system tests both fighters' endurance and navigation skills, whilst building tension through environmental hazards and collapsing passages. The discovery of an ancient pirate's treasure provides both material rewards and historical significance to their adventure, though neither fighter shows much interest in wealth compared to their primary objectives. The pirates' hoard includes weapons and artifacts that demonstrate the cave system's long history as a refuge for criminals and outcasts. General Blue's temporary escape from the collapsing cave system ensures that their conflict will continue beyond this single encounter, whilst Goku's acquisition of another Dragon Ball advances his quest. The General's survival also means that the Red Ribbon Army retains one of their most capable officers for future operations against the boy. The aftermath of their underwater battle sees both fighters emerging with increased respect for their opponent's abilities, though their fundamental opposition remains unchanged. General Blue's recognition of Goku as a serious threat leads to escalated Red Ribbon responses, whilst the boy's understanding of psychic combat prepares him for future supernatural encounters. Their next confrontation occurs in a more conventional setting, allowing for traditional martial arts combat without the complications of environmental hazards or advanced technology. However, General Blue's psychic abilities continue to provide significant advantages that force Goku to develop new strategies for overcoming supernatural opponents. The psychological pressure of facing an opponent who can paralyze him at will tests Goku's mental strength and emotional control in ways that physical challenges never could. His struggle to overcome this supernatural disadvantage through pure determination and fighting spirit demonstrates the power of human will against seemingly insurmountable odds. General Blue's growing frustration with Goku's resistance to his psychic powers reveals weaknesses in the General's own mental discipline and emotional control. His increasing anger and desperation create opportunities for exploitation, as strong emotions interfere with the concentration required for effective psychic manipulation. The battle's turning point comes when an unexpected intervention disrupts General Blue's focus at a crucial moment, allowing Goku to break free from psychic paralysis and launch a devastating counterattack. This reversal of fortune demonstrates how external factors can influence even supernatural abilities when opponents are closely matched in determination and skill. General Blue's final defeat removes one of the Red Ribbon Army's most dangerous operatives, whilst providing Goku with valuable experience in fighting psychic opponents. The boy's victory through perseverance and tactical thinking, rather than overwhelming power, shows his growing maturity as a martial artist and strategist. However, the Red Ribbon Army's response to losing General Blue involves deploying even more dangerous operatives, including the legendary assassin, mercenary Tao. This deadly warrior represents a completely different category of threat, one whose reputation for invincibility and ruthless efficiency has made him feared throughout the martial arts community. Mercenary Tao's introduction to the conflict escalates the danger to levels that exceed anything Goku has previously encountered. The assassin's perfect record of successful missions and his complete lack of moral constraints make him a fundamentally different type of opponent than the military officers and soldiers who have opposed the boy thus far. The assassin's reputation precedes him through stories of impossible feats and legendary victories that seem to border on the supernatural. His ability to kill any target regardless of their strength or protection has made him the most expensive and sought-after killer in the world, commanding fees that only the wealthiest organizations can afford. Commander Red's decision to hire mercenary Tao demonstrates both his desperation to eliminate Goku and his access to virtually unlimited financial resources. The enormous fee required for the assassin's services represents a significant investment in resolving the Red Ribbon Army's Goku problem through decisive action rather than continued military operations. Tao's arrival at the sacred land of Korin creates an atmosphere of dread that even the wildlife recognizes as dangerous. His casual attitude towards violence and complete disregard for innocent life make him a threat to everyone in the vicinity, not merely his intended target. The sacred nature of the location means nothing to someone who views killing as simply another business transaction. The first victim of Tao's presence is Bora, Upa's father and guardian of the sacred land. This noble warrior's death demonstrates the assassin's power whilst providing Goku with personal motivation that transcends his general opposition to the Red Ribbon Army. The murder of an innocent protector transforms their conflict from adventure into a quest for justice. Upa's grief and Goku's promise to use the Dragon Balls to restore Bora to life add emotional weight to the remaining quest whilst establishing clear stakes for success or failure. The boy's commitment to helping the bereaved child shows his developing sense of responsibility towards those affected by his battles with evil forces. Goku's initial confrontation with mercenary Tao results in humiliating defeat, as the assassin's superior speed, technique, and experience overwhelm the boy's natural abilities. This represents the first time that Goku has been completely outclassed in combat, forcing him to confront the limitations of his current strength and training. Tao's casual dismissal of Goku as a minor obstacle demonstrates his supreme confidence and vast experience with eliminating martial artists. The assassin's ability to defeat the boy without apparent effort reveals the enormous gap between their respective skill levels, whilst his decision to leave Goku for dead shows characteristic overconfidence. The near-death experience forces Goku to seek training beyond anything he has previously attempted, leading him to climb Korin Tower in search of the legendary sacred water. This mystical substance is said to dramatically increase a martial artist's power, though the tower's height and the Guardian's tests make acquiring it extraordinarily difficult. Korin Tower's immense height creates a physical challenge that tests Goku's endurance and determination as much as his climbing ability. The structure extends so high into the atmosphere that climbers face oxygen depletion and extreme weather conditions, whilst the smooth surface offers few handholds for anyone without supernatural climbing skills. Master Korin, the ancient cat who guards the sacred water, proves to be both wise and mischievous in his training methods. His seeming laziness and casual attitude masks centuries of experience and deep understanding of martial arts principles, whilst his games and tests provide more valuable education than conventional training methods could achieve. The tower's design incorporates training elements throughout its structure, with each level presenting different challenges that develop specific skills and abilities. Korin's seemingly arbitrary rules and requirements actually form a comprehensive curriculum that addresses weaknesses while building upon existing strengths. Goku's time at Korin Tower involves more than simply climbing to reach the sacred water, as the Cat Guardian's training methods require patience, observation, and tactical thinking rather than mere physical prowess. The lessons learned during this period prepare him for more sophisticated combat approaches that will prove essential in future encounters. The revelation that the sacred water possesses no magical properties beyond normal water provides a crucial lesson about the nature of true strength and improvement. Korin's explanation that the tower's climb itself provided all the necessary training demonstrates how achievement comes through effort and dedication, rather than shortcuts or magical enhancement. Goku's dramatic improvement in speed, strength, and technique results entirely from the intense physical conditioning and mental discipline required by Korin's training regimen. His ability to snatch the sacred water from the ancient Guardian proves that he has achieved the level of ability necessary to face mercenary Tao on equal terms. With his training complete and his confidence restored, Goku descends from Korin Tower, ready to face the assassin who had so easily defeated him before. The journey back to the sacred land provides time for reflection on everything he has learned during his ordeal. The lessons extend far beyond mere physical improvement. Master Korin's teachings have given him insights into the mental aspects of combat that will prove invaluable in future battles. The confrontation between the newly empowered Goku and the legendary mercenary Tao creates a dramatic reversal of their previous encounter. Where once the assassin had dominated through superior speed and technique, now Goku's enhanced abilities allow him to match and eventually exceed his opponent's capabilities. The boy's improvement astounds Tao, who has never before encountered someone capable of such rapid development. Their rematch showcases techniques and power levels that exceed anything previously witnessed in the Dragon Ball world. Tao's signature techniques, which had seemed impossible to counter during their first battle, now prove insufficient against Goku's enhanced speed and strength. The assassin's overconfidence becomes a liability as he struggles to adapt to facing an opponent who no longer fears his reputation. The battle's climax comes when Goku demonstrates his mastery of the Kamehameha wave, launching the energy attack with power that dwarfs his previous attempts. Tao's attempt to deflect the technique using conventional methods proves futile, as the concentrated energy overwhelms his defenses and sends him fleeing in defeat. This victory marks a crucial turning point in Goku's development as a martial artist. Mercenary Tao's retreat eliminates the immediate threat to Goku, whilst demonstrating the boy's growth from someone who could barely survive the assassin's initial attack to a fighter capable of defeating one of the world's most feared killers. However, Tao's survival ensures that their paths will cross again under different circumstances, as the humiliated assassin vows revenge for his unexpected defeat. The restoration of Bora to life using the Dragon Balls provides emotional closure to Upa's tragedy, whilst demonstrating the positive applications of these mystical objects. Shenron's appearance to grant this wish shows how the dragon responds to requests made with pure intentions, contrasting sharply with the selfish desires that usually motivate Dragon Ball seekers. Upa's reunion with his father represents a moment of pure joy that validates all of Goku's efforts and sacrifices during the Red Ribbon Army campaign. The sight of the young boy's happiness provides Goku with emotional satisfaction that transcends any personal achievement or recognition. This scene establishes themes about using power responsibly to help others rather than for selfish gain. With Bora restored and the sacred land once again protected, Goku prepares to continue his martial arts journey with renewed purpose and significantly enhanced abilities. His experiences during the Red Ribbon Army conflict have transformed him from a powerful but naive boy into a seasoned fighter capable of facing truly dangerous opponents. The aftermath of the mercenary Tao encounter sees Goku's reputation beginning to spread throughout the martial arts community, as word of his victory over the legendary assassin creates both admiration and concern among other fighters. His name becomes associated with exceptional ability and unwavering moral character, setting the stage for future encounters with those who seek to test their skills against his. However, the Red Ribbon Army's response to losing their most expensive operative involves escalating their campaign against Goku to unprecedented levels. Commander Red's personal involvement in planning future operations demonstrates how seriously the organization now takes the threat posed by a single extraordinary boy. The Army's increased focus on eliminating Goku leads to more sophisticated and dangerous schemes that will test not only his combat abilities, but also his strategic thinking and moral resolve. Their willingness to target innocent people and sacred places shows how his opposition has corrupted their methods and intensified their ruthlessness. As Section 1 concludes, Goku stands transformed from the innocent mountain boy who first encountered Bulma into a formidable martial artist capable of facing the world's most dangerous opponents. His journey through the Emperor Pilaf saga, the World Martial Arts Tournament, and the initial Red Ribbon Army conflicts has provided both physical training and moral education that will serve him throughout his future adventures. The stage is now set for even greater challenges as the Red Ribbon Army prepares their ultimate campaign against the boy who has repeatedly frustrated their ambitions. Goku's growing reputation and enhanced abilities make him a target for forces that will test every aspect of his character and determination. The friendships forged during these early adventures with Bulma, Yamcha, Krillin, and Android 8 provide emotional anchors that ground Goku's extraordinary abilities in human connections and moral responsibility. These relationships will become increasingly important as the stakes of future conflicts escalate beyond personal survival to encompass the fate of entire populations. Most importantly, Goku's unwavering commitment to protecting innocent people and using his strength for righteous purposes establishes the heroic identity that will define his role in the world. His journey from isolated orphan to champion of justice demonstrates how exceptional ability combined with pure intentions can overcome any obstacle or adversary. The Red Ribbon Army's response to mercenary Tao's humiliating defeat triggers a complete reassessment of their strategy regarding the boy who has consistently thwarted their operations. Commander Red's rage at losing his most expensive asset compels him to take personal control of all future anti-Goku operations, elevating the conflict from routine military procedure to a matter of organizational survival and personal pride. The diminutive commander's obsession with eliminating Goku reveals deeper psychological motivations that extend beyond simple tactical considerations. His inability to accept defeat by a mere child exposes character flaws that will ultimately prove more dangerous to his own organization than any external threat. The Army's resources become increasingly focused on a single target, creating vulnerabilities that a more strategic approach might have avoided. Staff Officer Black, Commander Red's most trusted aide and the Army's actual tactical genius, begins to question the wisdom of concentrating so many resources on eliminating one individual. His military experience suggests that their energies would be better directed toward gathering the remaining Dragon Balls through alternative methods, but the commander's wounded pride prevents rational strategic thinking. The tension between Commander Red's emotional responses and Staff Officer Black's practical military philosophy creates internal conflicts within the Red Ribbon Army's leadership structure. These disagreements weaken their operational effectiveness, whilst providing Goku with opportunities to exploit their divided attention and competing priorities. Meanwhile, Goku's victory over mercenary Tao provides him with confidence and recognition that attracts attention from other martial artists seeking to test their abilities against the boy who defeated the world's most feared assassin. His growing reputation creates both opportunities for learning from skilled opponents and dangers from those who view him as either a threat to be eliminated or a prize to be claimed. The period following Tao's defeat allows Goku to continue his Dragon Ball quest whilst developing the enhanced abilities gained through his training at Korin Tower. His encounters with various opponents during this time demonstrate how dramatically his power level has increased, as fighters who might once have challenged him now prove largely outmatched by his improved speed and strength. However, the Red Ribbon Army's continued interference in his quest forces Goku to adopt more aggressive tactics against their operations. His previous reluctance to cause unnecessary destruction gives way to decisive action when civilian lives are threatened, showing character development that balances his peaceful nature with the necessity of stopping truly evil organizations. The Army's escalating desperation leads to increasingly reckless operations that endanger innocent people and sacred places throughout the world. Their willingness to sacrifice anything and anyone in pursuit of their goals demonstrates how largely they have abandoned moral constraints in favor of achieving victory through any means necessary. Goku's decision to strike directly at Red Ribbon Army headquarters represents a fundamental shift in his approach to conflict resolution. Rather than simply reacting to their attacks, he chooses to eliminate the source of their threat by destroying their command structure and operational capabilities. This proactive strategy demonstrates growing tactical sophistication and determination to end their threat permanently. The assault on Red Ribbon Army headquarters begins with careful reconnaissance that reveals the massive scope of their military installation. The complex includes research facilities, weapons manufacturing plants, training centers, and command bunkers that demonstrate the organization's vast resources and global ambitions. The scale of their operation exceeds anything Goku has previously encountered. The base's defensive systems incorporate advanced technology and sophisticated tactical planning that reflects the Army's military expertise and financial resources. Automated weapons, surveillance networks, and coordinated defensive positions create multiple layers of protection that would challenge even conventional military forces attempting to penetrate their perimeter. However, the Red Ribbon Army's defensive preparations were designed to counter traditional military threats, rather than a single individual with supernatural abilities. Their reliance on conventional tactics and weaponry proves inadequate against someone who can move faster than their targeting systems can track and strike with force that exceeds their equipment specifications. Goku's infiltration of the compound demonstrates how his training and experience have taught him to think strategically about complex objectives. Rather than relying purely on direct assault, he employs stealth and misdirection to bypass heavily defended areas, whilst striking at critical infrastructure that will disrupt their entire operation. The boys' systematic destruction of the base's key facilities creates chaos throughout the installation as communication networks fail and automated systems malfunction. His targeting of power generation, command centers, and weapon storage demonstrates understanding of how complex organizations depend on interconnected systems that can be disrupted through precise action. The Red Ribbon Army's response to the assault reveals both their military professionalism and their fundamental inability to adapt to unprecedented threats. Their soldiers execute their defensive procedures competently, but their training provides no guidance for dealing with an enemy who operates outside conventional military parameters. Commander Red's personal involvement in directing the defense of his headquarters exposes him to direct confrontation with Goku for the first time. The diminutive dictator's physical weakness contrasts sharply with his powerful military organization, revealing the irony of someone who relies almost entirely on others' strength to achieve his ambitions. Their encounter demonstrates the vast disparity between the commander's grandiose self-image and his actual capabilities. His attempts to intimidate or threaten Goku fall largely flat when faced with someone who has already defeated far more dangerous opponents through pure determination and skill. The revelation of Commander Red's true motivation for seeking the Dragon Balls provides a moment of dark comedy that undermines the entire Red Ribbon Army campaign. His wish to become taller represents such a trivial and personal desire that it exposes the fundamental pettiness underlying all their military operations and global ambitions. Staff Officer Black's shocked reaction to learning his commander's real goals demonstrates how largely the practical military man has been deceived about their organization's purposes. His realization that thousands of soldiers have died and countless resources have been expended for such a ridiculous objective triggers a crisis of loyalty that reshapes the Army's entire power structure. The confrontation between Commander Red and Staff Officer Black escalates beyond mere disagreement into open rebellion against the Army's leadership. Black's decision to eliminate his commander represents a military coup motivated by both practical concerns and moral outrage at their wasted efforts and sacrificed personnel. However, Staff Officer Black's assumption of command comes too late to prevent the organization's collapse, as Goku's assault has already eliminated too much of their infrastructure and personnel. The coup represents an attempt to salvage something from the ruins of their military empire, but the damage inflicted by both internal betrayal and external attack proves irreparable. The destruction of Red Ribbon Army headquarters eliminates the primary threat to Goku's Dragon Ball quest, whilst demonstrating the consequences of opposing someone with both exceptional ability and unwavering moral purpose. Their defeat serves as a warning to other organizations that might consider similar campaigns of global domination. The Army's collapse also frees numerous regions from their oppressive control, allowing populations that had suffered under their military occupation to regain their freedom and self-determination. Goku's victory thus provides benefits that extend far beyond his personal quest to communities throughout the world. With the Red Ribbon Army's threat eliminated, Goku can resume his search for the remaining Dragon Balls without constant interference from military operations. However, his experiences during the conflict have taught him valuable lessons about the importance of acting decisively against truly evil opponents, rather than hoping they will abandon their destructive ambitions. The quest for the final Dragon Ball leads Goku to seek assistance from fortune teller Baba, Master Roshi's eccentric sister, whose mystical abilities include locating lost objects and communicating with supernatural forces. Her palace serves as a neutral ground where various fighters gather to test their abilities against carefully selected opponents. Fortune teller Baba's personality combines genuine mystical power with a shrewd business sense that ensures her services command appropriate compensation. Her requirement that Goku face 5 powerful opponents before receiving information about the Dragon Ball's location creates both obstacles and opportunities for demonstrating his enhanced abilities. The first opponent in Baba's tournament proves to be a skilled vampire whose supernatural nature provides unique challenges that test Goku's adaptability to non-human opponents. The creature's ability to fly and drain energy through physical contact creates tactical complications that require creative solutions rather than overwhelming force. The vampire's weakness to sunlight provides Goku with a potential strategy for victory. though exploiting this vulnerability requires careful timing and environmental manipulation. The battle showcases how knowledge and quick thinking can overcome supernatural advantages when applied with sufficient skill and determination. The second opponent introduces Goku to an invisible man whose transparency makes conventional combat nearly impossible until the boy develops techniques for tracking movement through sound and displaced air currents. This encounter demonstrates how his training under Master Korin has enhanced not only his physical abilities, but also his sensory perception and analytical thinking. The invisible fighter's reliance on his supernatural advantage creates overconfidence that Goku eventually exploits through patient observation and tactical adaptation. The victory proves that even seemingly insurmountable supernatural abilities can be overcome through persistence and creative problem-solving. The third battle pits Goku against a massive mummy whose ancient origins and mystical preservation grant him tremendous strength and apparent invulnerability to conventional attacks. The creature's bandage-wrapped form hides both defensive capabilities and offensive weapons that challenge Goku's growing confidence in his enhanced abilities. However, the mummy's reliance on his bandages for both protection and mobility creates a critical vulnerability that Goku discovers through careful observation during their prolonged battle. The unwrapping strategy requires patience and precise timing, as the ancient fighter's strength makes direct confrontation extremely dangerous. The fourth opponent proves to be a skilled human martial artist whose conventional training provides a welcome contrast to the supernatural challenges of the previous fights. This battle allows Goku to demonstrate how his experiences have enhanced his ability to face opponents who rely on pure skill and technique rather than mystical advantages. Their contest showcases different approaches to martial arts philosophy, with the human fighter's disciplined traditional methods contrasting against Goku's instinctive adaptability and creative techniques. The battle provides educational value for both participants, whilst entertaining the spectators with displays of advanced combat skills. The tournament's climactic fifth battle presents Goku with his most emotionally challenging opponent, a masked fighter whose identity remains hidden until the crucial moment when victory seems assured. The mysterious warrior's familiar fighting style and protective instincts trigger recognition that transforms their contest from simple competition into profound personal revelation. The dramatic revelation that the masked fighter is actually Goku's deceased grandfather Gohan, temporarily returned from the afterlife through fortune teller Baba's mystical powers, creates an emotional confrontation that transcends mere physical combat. Their reunion provides closure and guidance that Goku has needed since beginning his martial arts journey. Grandpa Gohan's assessment of his grandson's growth and development offers validation for all the training and sacrifice that has brought Goku to his current level of ability. The old man's pride in seeing how the innocent boy has become a skilled martial artist whilst maintaining his pure heart provides emotional satisfaction that exceeds any tournament victory. Their battle allows both grandfather and grandson to demonstrate how their shared martial arts heritage has evolved through different generations and experiences. Gohan's classical techniques clash with Goku's enhanced abilities in a contest that honors their family's fighting traditions whilst acknowledging the necessity of adaptation and growth. The match's conclusion comes not through decisive victory, but through the natural expiration of Gohan's temporary return to the physical world. Their farewell provides emotional closure, whilst establishing that their connection transcends death through the martial arts principles and moral values that the old man instilled in his grandson. Fortune teller Baba's revelation of the final Dragon Ball's location completes Goku's quest, whilst providing him with the mystical assistance needed to locate an object that conventional searching could never find. Her supernatural abilities demonstrate how some problems require unconventional solutions that extend beyond physical strength or conventional wisdom. The gathering of all 7 Dragon Balls allows Goku to summon Shenron and request the restoration of everyone killed by the Red Ribbon Army during their global campaign. This wish demonstrates how his experiences have taught him to use power responsibly for helping others, rather than pursuing personal desires. Shenron's fulfillment of this compassionate request brings peace to countless families, whilst demonstrating the positive potential of the Dragon Balls when used by someone with pure intentions. The dragon's departure scatters the spheres once again, but Goku's satisfaction with helping others provides greater fulfillment than any selfish wish could achieve. The completion of his Dragon Ball quest marks another significant milestone in Goku's development from innocent mountain boy to experienced martial artist and protector of innocent people. His journey through various challenges has provided both physical training and moral education that prepare him for even greater responsibilities ahead. The period following his victory provides time for reflection on everything learned during the Red Ribbon Army campaign and Fortune Teller Baba tournament. These experiences have demonstrated that true strength comes not from power alone, but from the wisdom to use ability responsibly and the courage to face any challenge for righteous purposes. Goku's enhanced abilities and growing reputation attract attention from other martial artists seeking either alliance or confrontation with someone capable of such remarkable achievements. His name becomes associated with both incredible fighting skill and unwavering moral character throughout the martial arts community. The approaching date of the next World Martial Arts Tournament provides a new goal for continued training and development. Goku's desire to test his enhanced abilities against the world's strongest fighters motivates intensive preparation that will push his skills to even higher levels. The 3-year gap between tournaments allows time for both physical conditioning and strategic study as Goku prepares to face opponents who may have learned from his previous performance. His training focuses on addressing weaknesses revealed during past battles whilst building upon the strengths that have brought him success. During this preparation period, Goku encounters other martial artists who are also preparing for the tournament, creating opportunities for learning and friendly competition that enhance his understanding of different fighting styles and techniques. These encounters provide education whilst establishing relationships that will influence future adventures. The training also includes meditation and mental discipline designed to strengthen his focus and emotional control during intense combat situations. Master Korin's lessons about the mental aspects of martial arts prove invaluable for developing concentration and strategic thinking that complement his natural fighting instincts. As the tournament approaches, Goku's excitement builds not from confidence in victory, but from anticipation of facing new challenges that will test his abilities and provide opportunities for continued growth. His attitude demonstrates how the journey of self-improvement has become more important than achieving specific objectives or recognition. The announcement that the tournament will feature several mysterious new participants creates additional intrigue and speculation about potential opponents. Goku's reputation ensures that other fighters view him as either a target to defeat or a standard against which to measure their own abilities. The tournament's preliminary rounds reveal that the overall skill level has increased dramatically since the previous competition, as fighters throughout the world have trained intensively to match the standards set by Goku's remarkable performance years earlier. This elevation in competition creates excitement, whilst ensuring that future battles will test everyone's abilities. Among the new participants, several stand out as particularly formidable opponents, whose presence suggests that this tournament will feature battles exceeding anything previously witnessed. Their varied backgrounds and fighting styles promise contests that will challenge conventional understanding of martial arts possibilities. Tien Shinhan emerges as one of the most intriguing new contestants, representing the Crane School of Martial Arts with techniques and philosophy that contrast sharply with the Turtle School methods that influenced Goku's training. His three-eyed appearance and intense demeanor suggest both supernatural ability and unwavering dedication to perfection. Tien's training partner, Chiotsu, demonstrates complementary abilities, that include psychic powers reminiscent of General Blue's techniques, but applied with greater precision and tactical sophistication. Their partnership represents a formidable team whose coordination and varied abilities create multiple strategic challenges for potential opponents. The Crane School's philosophy emphasizes victory through any means necessary, including techniques and tactics that more traditional schools consider unethical or dishonorable. This approach creates fundamental conflicts with the Turtle School's emphasis on self-improvement and protection of others rather than mere dominance. Master Shen, the Crane Hermit who trained Tien and Chiaotzu, represents an alternative path for martial arts development that prioritizes power and effectiveness over moral constraints. His rivalry with Master Roshi extends back decades and encompasses fundamental disagreements about the proper purposes of martial arts training. The tournament's format accommodates the increased number of skilled participants, whilst ensuring that matches between top-level fighters receive appropriate attention and respect. The organizers recognize that these contests represent pinnacles of human achievement that deserve careful presentation and analysis. Goku's early matches demonstrate how dramatically his abilities have improved since the previous tournament, as opponents who might once have provided serious challenges now prove inadequate to test his enhanced skills. His victories showcase both technical mastery and the effortless grace that accompanies true expertise. However, Goku's approach to combat remains fundamentally unchanged, despite his increased power, as he continues to treat each opponent with respect while seeking opportunities to learn from their techniques and strategies. His attitude demonstrates how genuine martial arts mastery includes wisdom and humility alongside physical ability. The progression through preliminary rounds eliminates weaker contestants, whilst building anticipation for confrontations between the tournament's true champions. Each successive match reveals new aspects of the competitor's abilities, whilst establishing the tactical and philosophical differences that will define their ultimate confrontations. Krillin's return to tournament competition showcases his own dramatic improvement through dedicated training, though his development follows different paths than Goku's enhancement. Their friendship remains strong despite the competitive environment, demonstrating how genuine bonds transcend mere rivalry. Yamcha's participation represents his evolution from desert bandit to legitimate martial artist, though his progress proves more modest than his friend's remarkable advancement. His determination to prove himself creates admirable motivation, whilst establishing realistic limitations for his competitive potential. Master Roshi's decision to compete openly under his own identity, rather than the Jackie Chun disguise, demonstrates confidence in his students' development and readiness to face genuine challenges without artificial constraints. His presence adds gravitas to the competition, whilst ensuring that traditional martial arts wisdom receives appropriate representation. The tournament's atmosphere builds steadily as preliminary rounds eliminate all but the most skilled participants, creating an elite field whose battles will represent the highest levels of martial arts achievement. The spectators sense that they are witnessing something extraordinary that transcends mere athletic competition. The quarterfinal matches begin with confrontations that immediately establish the tournament's elevated stakes and technical complexity. Each battle demonstrates fighting techniques and power levels that far exceed previous competitions, whilst revealing the philosophical differences that separate various martial arts schools and training methods. Goku's quarterfinal opponent proves to be a seasoned warrior whose conventional training provides an interesting contrast to the boy's enhanced abilities. Their battle allows for detailed exploration of how different training approaches produce varied fighting styles, whilst demonstrating Goku's continued commitment to learning from every encounter. The match showcases Goku's enhanced speed and strength, whilst revealing how his experiences with supernatural opponents have broadened his tactical thinking. His ability to adapt instantly to unfamiliar techniques demonstrates the mental flexibility that complements his physical improvements. However, the victory comes through superior ability, rather than overwhelming domination, as Goku continues to respect his opponents and seek educational value from each contest. His approach to competition demonstrates how true martial arts mastery includes wisdom and restraint alongside technical skill. Tien Shinhan's quarter-final performance provides the tournament's first glimpse of Crane School techniques and philosophy in action. His clinical precision and ruthless efficiency contrast sharply with the more compassionate approaches demonstrated by Turtle School practitioners, creating intrigue about their eventual confrontation. The three-eyed warrior's multi-form technique allows him to split into multiple copies of himself, each possessing independent thought and action, whilst maintaining coordination with the others. This ability creates tactical advantages that overwhelm opponents who expect to face only a single adversary. Tien's victory demonstrates both his exceptional individual ability and the sophisticated training methods employed by the Crane School. His complete focus on winning rather than learning or teaching reveals fundamental differences in motivation and philosophy that will become crucial during later encounters. Chiatsu's psychic abilities provide another demonstration of the Crane School's emphasis on utilizing any advantage to achieve victory. His telekinetic powers allow him to manipulate objects and opponents without physical contact, creating tactical options unavailable to conventional martial artists. The small fighter's innocent appearance masks considerable power and unwavering loyalty to his training partner. Their relationship demonstrates how the Crane School fosters teamwork and mutual support among its students, though these bonds serve competitive rather than humanitarian purposes. Master Shen's presence at the tournament creates tension through his obvious rivalry with Master Roshi and his contrasting philosophy regarding martial arts purposes. His confidence in his students' abilities suggests that he views this competition as an opportunity to prove the superiority of Crane School methods. The semi-final rounds pair contestants whose abilities and philosophies create compelling contrasts that extend beyond mere technical differences. These matches will determine not only tournament winners, but also which approaches to martial arts training prove most effective under pressure. Goku's semi-final opponent represents his most challenging contest since facing mercenary Tao, as their similar power levels create genuine uncertainty about the outcome. The extended battle demonstrates how evenly matched fighters must rely on strategy and determination, rather than overwhelming superiority. The match's duration allows for detailed exploration of advanced martial arts techniques, as both competitors push themselves to previously unexplored limits. Their contest becomes a clinic in high-level combat that educates spectators about the subtleties of expert-level fighting. Goku's eventual victory comes through his characteristic combination of technical skill, tactical adaptation, and unwavering determination. However, the close nature of the contest demonstrates that his enhanced abilities do not guarantee easy success against sufficiently skilled opponents. Tien Shinhan's semi-final performance establishes him as Goku's most dangerous potential opponent, whilst revealing the full scope of Crane School techniques. His ruthless efficiency and technical precision create a fighting style that prioritizes effectiveness over considerations of sportsmanship or opponent welfare. The three-eyed warrior's solar flare technique demonstrates the Crane School's willingness to employ tactics that more traditional schools might consider unsporting. His ability to blind opponents temporarily creates significant tactical advantages, whilst revealing his thorough preparation for facing various types of adversaries. Tien's advancement to the finals sets up a confrontation between fundamentally different approaches to martial arts training and competition. His victory through superior technique, rather than moral flexibility, demonstrates that the Crane School produces genuinely skilled fighters, despite their questionable methods. The tournament final between Goku and Tien Shinhan represents more than a contest between individual fighters. It embodies the clash between Turtle School compassion and Crane School ruthlessness, between training for self-improvement and preparation for dominance over others. Their initial exchanges establish both fighters' exceptional abilities, whilst revealing the technical and philosophical differences that separate their approaches to combat. Goku's adaptable style contrasts with Tien's precise execution of predetermined techniques, creating a battle between improvisation and planning. Tien's multi-form technique creates the tournament's most spectacular moment, as 4 identical copies attack Goku simultaneously from different angles. The coordinated assault tests the boy's defensive capabilities, whilst demonstrating the Crane School's emphasis on overwhelming tactical advantages. However, Goku's analysis of the technique reveals its fundamental weakness. Dividing Tien's power among multiple forms reduces each copy's individual strength proportionally. This insight allows him to endure the multi-directional assault, whilst planning a counter-strategy that exploits the technique's limitations. The revelation that Tien's copies share damage inflicted on any individual form provides Goku with the key to overcoming this supernatural advantage. His concentrated attack on a single copy proves that understanding an opponent's techniques can overcome even seemingly insurmountable tactical disadvantages. Tien's forced return to single form creates opportunities for direct confrontation that showcase both fighters' individual abilities without supernatural enhancements. Their hand-to-hand combat demonstrates master-level technique execution, whilst building dramatic tension through evenly matched exchanges. The battle's turning point comes when Tien's determination to prove Crane School superiority leads him to employ increasingly dangerous techniques that risk permanent injury to both fighters. His willingness to sacrifice safety for victory reveals the moral limitations of prioritizing winning over all other considerations. Goku's response to this escalation demonstrates his character development from someone who merely enjoyed fighting to a martial artist who understands the responsibility that accompanies exceptional ability. His restraint in the face of Tien's recklessness shows wisdom that transcends mere technical skill. The climactic exchange features both fighters launching their most powerful techniques in a final test of strength, skill, and determination. Their energy attacks collide with forces that threaten to destroy the tournament ring, whilst creating a spectacle that amazes every observer. The battle's conclusion comes through circumstances that emphasize character over pure ability, as external factors create opportunities that reveal both fighters' true natures. Goku's ultimate victory demonstrates that martial arts mastery includes wisdom and compassion alongside technical excellence. Tien's reaction to defeat provides crucial character development as the Crane School warrior begins to question the philosophy that has guided his training. His growing respect for Goku's approach suggests possibilities for future friendship rather than continued rivalry between their schools. The tournament's aftermath sees relationships and philosophies evolving as participants reflect on lessons learned through competition and observation. These changes set the stage for future developments that will reshape the martial arts community's understanding of proper training and application. However, the peaceful conclusion of the tournament proves temporary as new and far more dangerous threats begin to emerge. Ancient evils that have slumbered for centuries stir in response to the power levels demonstrated by the world's strongest fighters, creating challenges that will test more than individual combat ability. King Piccolo, a demon whose previous rampage centuries ago required the combined efforts of legendary heroes to contain, begins to sense opportunities created by the current generation's strength and conflicts. His awakening represents a threat that transcends martial arts tournaments to encompass the survival of all life on Earth. The demon's initial stirrings create subtle disturbances that only the most sensitive individuals detect, though these early signs suggest approaching catastrophe for those who understand their significance. The world's strongest fighters must prepare for challenges that will make their previous contests seem like mere training exercises. Ancient legends speak of King Piccolo's original reign of terror and the desperate measures required to seal him away from the world. His return would unleash forces that conventional military power cannot address, making the martial arts community humanity's primary hope for survival against supernatural destruction. The discovery that Emperor Pilaf's latest scheme involves accidentally releasing this ancient evil transforms the diminutive dictator from comedic nuisance into unwitting agent of global catastrophe. His continued incompetence creates dangers that far exceed his limited ambitions and understanding. King Piccolo's emergence from his mystical prison represents the beginning of Dragon Ball's darkest and most dangerous saga. The demon's power exceeds anything previously encountered, whilst his malevolent intelligence makes him far more dangerous than mere mindless destruction could achieve. The ancient demon's awakening sends ripples of supernatural terror throughout the world, as sensitive individuals begin experiencing nightmares and premonitions of approaching doom. Animals flee from areas where his influence grows strongest, whilst plants wither and die in response to the evil energy radiating from his presence. Emperor Pilaf's role in releasing this catastrophic force stems from his discovery of an ornate music box containing what he believes to be another Dragon Ball. His greed and incompetence blind him to the mystical warnings and protective seals that should have deterred anyone from disturbing the ancient prison. The music box's deeper nature as a mystical container, designed to hold King Piccolo's essence, becomes apparent only after Pilaf's meddling weakens the seals that have contained the demon for centuries. His actions represent the culmination of his consistent pattern of creating disasters through ignorance and overreaching ambition. King Piccolo's initial emergence takes the form of a withered, elderly demon whose appearance belies the incredible power contained within his ancient form. His immediate priorities focus on restoring his full strength and eliminating the martial artists whose power levels pose potential threats to his plans for global domination. The demon's first actions involve gathering the Dragon Balls to wish for restored youth and vitality, demonstrating intelligence and strategic thinking that sets him apart from previous antagonists. His understanding of the mystical sphere's power comes from ancient knowledge predating their current use by modern Dragon Ball seekers. The systematic hunting of martial artists begins with King Piccolo's spawning of numerous offspring designed to serve as both soldiers and assassins. These demon children inherit portions of their father's power, whilst possessing unique abilities that make them formidable opponents for even skilled fighters. Tambourine, the first and most vicious of King Piccolo's children, demonstrates both flight capability and ruthless efficiency in eliminating martial artists throughout the world. His mission involves not only killing current fighters, but also destroying the records and knowledge that might allow future generations to develop threatening abilities. The demon offspring's assault on the martial arts community creates widespread panic as legendary fighters fall victim to attacks that seem impossible to predict or prevent. Their systematic approach to eliminating threats reveals King Piccolo's strategic intelligence and understanding of how humans develop power. Goku's first encounter with Tambourine occurs during his journey home from the World Martial Arts Tournament, creating a confrontation that immediately establishes the new threat level facing Earth's defenders. The demon's casual dismissal of the boy who defeated Tien Shinhan demonstrates either supreme confidence or dangerous underestimation. Their initial battle showcases the vast difference between human martial arts and demonic supernatural abilities, as Tambourine's flight and energy projection create tactical advantages that conventional training cannot address. Goku's exhaustion from the tournament further handicaps his ability to respond effectively to this unexpected assault. Tambourine's apparent victory over Goku sends shockwaves throughout the martial arts community, as news spreads that even the tournament champion has fallen to these mysterious attackers. The psychological impact of this defeat creates fear and despair among those who had Goku as humanity's strongest protector. However, the demon's overconfidence and failure to confirm his victim's death create opportunities for survival and eventual revenge. Goku's remarkable resilience allows him to recover from injuries that would prove fatal to ordinary humans, setting up future confrontations under more favorable circumstances. The broader campaign against martial artists claims numerous victims, as Tambourine methodically eliminates fighters whose names appear in tournament records and training school registries. His attacks demonstrate both supernatural speed and complete ruthlessness in ensuring that no potential threats escape his attention. Krillin's tragic death during one of these assaults provides Goku with personal motivation that transforms his opposition to King Piccolo from duty to burning desire for vengeance. The loss of his closest friend and training partner creates emotional stakes that intensify every subsequent encounter with the demon forces. The discovery of Krillin's body, along with evidence of Tambourine's involvement, triggers a rage in Goku that had been previously unknown to his character. His grief and fury create emotional turmoil that both motivates intense training and threatens to cloud his tactical judgment during crucial battles. Master Roshi's explanation of King Piccolo's history provides context for understanding the magnitude of the threat facing the world. The ancient demon's previous reign of terror required the sacrifice of legendary heroes, whilst his current return occurs when humanity possesses fewer defenders and less knowledge of supernatural combat. The revelation that Master Roshi participated in the original battle against King Piccolo centuries ago, using a technique that cost his master's life, demonstrates both the personal stakes involved and the desperate measures required to contain such overwhelming evil. His aged appearance results partly from the life force sacrificed during that ancient confrontation. The evil containment wave technique represents humanity's most powerful weapon against supernatural threats, though its use requires the practitioner to sacrifice their own life force to power the mystical binding. This ultimate technique's cost ensures that it can only be employed when all other options have been exhausted. Master Roshi's attempt to use the evil containment wave against King Piccolo provides a climactic confrontation between old enemies whose rivalry spans centuries. Their battle combines ancient knowledge with current desperation, as the elderly master stakes everything on a technique that previously saved the world. The failure of the containment attempt, caused by a critical error in targeting, results in Master Roshi's death, whilst leaving King Piccolo free to continue his reign of terror. This devastating loss eliminates one of humanity's most experienced defenders, whilst demonstrating the demon's apparent invincibility. The psychological impact of Master Roshi's sacrifice reverberates throughout the remaining defenders, as his death represents both the loss of irreplaceable knowledge and the failure of their most powerful technique. His demise forces the survivors to seek alternative strategies for confronting an seemingly insurmountable threat. King Piccolo's success in gathering the Dragon Balls allows him to summon Shenron and wish for restored youth and power. The transformation from aged demon to vigorous warrior multiplies his already overwhelming capabilities, whilst eliminating the physical limitations that might have provided tactical opportunities for his opponents. The rejuvenated King Piccolo's first actions involve proclaiming his dominion over Earth and establishing a new world order based on terror and near-absolute submission. His announcements reach every corner of the globe through hijacked communication networks, ensuring that no population remains unaware of their new circumstances. The demon's establishment of a reign of terror includes the systematic destruction of major cities and the elimination of governmental and military leadership. His demonstration of power creates panic and submission among populations that have no effective means of resistance against supernatural force. However, King Piccolo's arrogance and desire for entertainment lead him to announce a twisted martial arts tournament where humans must fight for his amusement. This decision provides opportunities for heroes to gather and plan resistance, whilst the demon indulges his sadistic enjoyment of human suffering. Goku's intensive training during this period involves pushing his abilities to previously unexplored limits under the guidance of surviving masters, and through sheer determination to avenge his fallen friends. His development accelerates under the pressure of knowing that failure means not only personal death, but global catastrophe. The discovery of the ultra-divine water a mystical substance even more dangerous than Korin's sacred water, provides a potential path to the power levels necessary for challenging King Piccolo. However, this enhancement comes with risks that could prove fatal to anyone lacking sufficient spiritual strength to survive the transformation. Goku's decision to drink the ultra-divine water, despite the mortal danger, demonstrates his commitment to protecting others regardless of personal cost. The process of absorbing this mystical enhancement tests both his physical endurance and spiritual purity, in ways that could either grant incredible power or result in immediate death. The successful integration of the ultra-divine water's power multiplies Goku's abilities to levels that finally approach those necessary for confronting King Piccolo on equal terms. However, this enhancement also creates psychological and physical changes that alter his fundamental relationship with martial arts combat. The climactic confrontation between the enhanced Goku and the rejuvenated King Piccolo creates a battle that threatens to destroy significant portions of the landscape, whilst determining the fate of all life on Earth. Their contest represents more than personal conflict. It embodies the struggle between good and evil on a cosmic scale. The fight showcases techniques and power levels that exceed anything previously witnessed in the Dragon Ball universe, as both combatants push themselves to near absolute limits in pursuit of victory. Their energy attacks and physical assaults create environmental destruction that demonstrates the supernatural nature of their confrontation. King Piccolo's centuries of experience and demonic nature initially provide advantages against Goku's enhanced but still developing abilities. The demon's tactical knowledge and ruthless techniques create challenges that test every aspect of the boy's training and character development. However, Goku's pure heart and unwavering determination to protect innocent people provide spiritual strength that proves resistant to King Piccolo's evil influence. His moral foundation creates tactical advantages that the demon's superior experience cannot almost entirely overcome. The battle's turning point comes when King Piccolo's arrogance leads him to underestimate the power of human emotional bonds and sacrifice. His inability to understand concepts like friendship and selfless protection creates blind spots that Goku's pure motivations can exploit. The final exchange between demon and hero creates a spectacular climax that combines physical combat with spiritual warfare, as King Piccolo's evil essence confronts Goku's pure heart in a contest that determines which force will shape the world's future. Goku's ultimate victory comes through a combination of enhanced power, tactical intelligence, and most importantly, the spiritual strength that comes from fighting for others rather than selfish purposes. His triumph demonstrates that good intentions, backed by sufficient determination, can overcome even supernatural evil. King Piccolo's defeat eliminates the immediate threat to global security, whilst establishing Goku as a defender capable of facing challenges that exceed conventional understanding. However, the demon's final actions before dying create new threats that will test the young hero's abilities in unexpected ways. The demon's spawning of a final offspring just before his death ensures that his evil will survive in a new form, though this child will develop under different circumstances that may influence his ultimate nature. This final act of defiance transforms victory into the beginning of a new cycle of conflict. The aftermath of the King Piccolo saga sees the world beginning to recover from supernatural terror, whilst recognizing Goku as a defender whose abilities transcend normal human limitations. His reputation evolves from skilled martial artist to legendary protector capable of facing threats that endanger all humanity. However, the victory's cost in terms of fallen friends and destroyed cities provides sobering reminders that even successful heroism involves sacrifice and loss. These lessons prepare Goku for future challenges, whilst establishing the emotional stakes that will drive his continued development. The period following King Piccolo's defeat allows for mourning, rebuilding, and preparation for whatever threats might emerge from the demon's final actions. The world's temporary peace provides opportunities for training and growth, whilst everyone remains alert for signs of renewed supernatural danger. The knowledge that Piccolo's offspring continues to develop somewhere in the world creates ongoing tension that prevents complete relaxation despite the immediate threat's elimination. This uncertainty ensures that vigilance and preparation remain constant priorities for Earth's defenders. As Section 2 concludes, the stage is set for Goku's continued development as both a martial artist and protector of humanity. His experiences facing supernatural evil have provided education about the responsibilities that accompany exceptional power, whilst demonstrating the importance of using strength for righteous purposes. The relationships forged and lost during these trials create emotional bonds and motivations that will influence future decisions and conflicts. The memory of fallen friends like Krillin and Master Roshi provides both inspiration and determination to prevent similar tragedies through continued vigilance and strength. Most importantly, the victory over King Piccolo establishes that no threat is too great to overcome when heroes possess sufficient determination, proper training, and pure motivations. This lesson provides hope for facing whatever challenges await, whilst ensuring that Earth's strongest defender remains humble despite his incredible achievements. The world's gradual return to normalcy following King Piccolo's defeat involves both celebration and careful reconstruction of the institutions and relationships damaged by supernatural terror. Governments work to rebuild their authority, whilst acknowledging that conventional military force proved useless against threats that only extraordinary individuals could address. The martial arts community begins the difficult process of recovering from the systematic elimination of so many experienced fighters. Schools and training centers that lost their masters must find new ways to preserve and transmit knowledge whilst adapting their methods to address threats beyond traditional human opponents. Goku's enhanced status following his victory over King Piccolo attracts attention from fighters throughout the world who seek either training from the Demon Slayer or opportunities to test themselves against someone of legendary capability. His growing reputation creates both opportunities for teaching others and challenges from those who misunderstand his motivations. However, the young hero's commitment to continued growth prevents him from resting on past achievements or allowing fame to corrupt his fundamental character. His dedication to training and self-improvement demonstrates that true martial arts mastery involves constant learning rather than satisfaction with current abilities. The mysterious offspring that King Piccolo created in his final moments begins developing in isolation, growing stronger whilst remaining hidden from those who would seek to eliminate this potential threat. His development occurs without the influence of his father's evil teachings, creating possibilities for different outcomes than simple reproduction of demonic malevolence. This new Piccolo's growth involves not only physical maturation, but also the formation of personality and moral perspective that will determine whether he follows his father's path of destruction or chooses alternative purposes for his inherited power. His choices will profoundly influence Earth's future safety and the nature of challenges facing its defenders. The Dragon Ball's temporary deactivation following King Piccolo's defeat creates a period when these mystical objects cannot be used to correct mistakes or restore what has been lost. This enforced acceptance of consequences teaches valuable lessons about the importance of preventing tragedies rather than relying on magical solutions to fix them afterwards. During this time, Goku and the surviving defenders must rely almost entirely on their own abilities and resources to address any threats that emerge. The absence of the Dragon Ball's safety net intensifies the importance of vigilance and preparation, whilst encouraging innovation in defensive strategies and techniques. The period also allows for reflection on how dependence on mystical solutions might weaken resolve or reduce commitment to developing actual capabilities. The temporary loss forces characters to confront their own limitations, whilst discovering alternative sources of strength and resilience. Master Roshi's death creates a void in the martial arts community that extends beyond mere loss of fighting capability to encompass the disappearance of irreplaceable knowledge and wisdom. His students must find ways to honor his memory whilst developing their own understanding of advanced techniques and principles. The responsibility for preserving and advancing Turtle School teachings falls partly on Goku's shoulders, though his instinctive approach to martial arts differs significantly from the systematic methods that characterized his master's instruction. This challenge forces him to develop teaching abilities alongside his continuing growth as a fighter. The establishment of new training methods that incorporate lessons learned from supernatural conflicts becomes essential for preparing future defenders. Traditional martial arts education must expand to address threats that conventional wisdom never anticipated, requiring innovation whilst maintaining core principles. The approaching Third World Martial Arts Tournament provides a goal that motivates continued training whilst offering opportunities to gauge how the global martial arts community has evolved in response to recent challenges. The competition promises to feature fighters whose abilities reflect the elevated standards created by supernatural threats. Goku's preparation for this tournament involves not only physical conditioning, but also mental and spiritual development, designed to ensure that his enhanced power serves proper purposes. His training focuses on wisdom and restraint as much as raw capability, recognizing that greater power requires greater responsibility. The tournament's format adapts to accommodate the dramatically increased skill levels of top competitors, whilst ensuring fair competition between fighters of vastly different capabilities. Organizers recognize that some participants now possess abilities that border on superhuman, requiring special considerations for safety and spectator protection. Among the new participants, several figures emerge whose presence suggests that this tournament will feature confrontations unlike anything previously witnessed in competitive martial arts. Their backgrounds and motivations promise contests that will test philosophical approaches to training and combat as much as technical abilities. The young Piccolo's eventual emergence from hiding represents a pivotal moment that will determine whether King Piccolo's legacy continues through renewed evil or transforms into something unexpected. His first interactions with the world will reveal whether nature or nurture proves more influential in shaping character and destiny. Goku's initial encounters with this new opponent create complex emotional and tactical challenges as he faces someone who possesses his fallen enemy's power but lacks the accumulated malevolence that made King Piccolo irredeemably evil. These confrontations test his ability to distinguish between inherited capability and chosen purpose. The philosophical questions raised by Piccolo Jr.'s existence extend beyond simple good versus evil to explore whether redemption remains possible even for those born from destruction. His development, under different circumstances than his father's influence, creates opportunities for growth that challenge assumptions about the nature of evil. The tournament setting for their eventual confrontation provides a controlled environment where these larger questions can be explored through combat, whilst minimizing the risk of collateral damage to innocent populations. The structured format allows for resolution of their conflict within boundaries that protect both participants and spectators. Their battles showcase not only incredible fighting techniques, but also the gradual evolution of their relationship from purely antagonistic to something more complex, involving mutual respect and recognition of shared isolation as beings whose power sets them apart from ordinary humans. The tournament's climactic confrontations establish new standards for martial arts competition, whilst resolving long-standing questions about the proper purposes of exceptional ability. These battles demonstrate how true strength encompasses wisdom, compassion, and self-control, alongside raw power. Goku's ultimate victory in both the tournament and his larger conflict with Piccolo Jr. provides validation for the training methods and moral principles that guided his development. However, this success comes through understanding and conversion rather than simple domination, suggesting that the greatest victories involve redemption rather than destruction. The tournament's conclusion marks the end of one phase of Goku's journey, whilst establishing foundations for future adventures. that will test his abilities in almost entirely new contexts. His growth from innocent mountain boy to world champion to demon slayer to teacher demonstrates the transformative power of dedication and pure motivation. The relationships formed and transformed during these trials create bonds that will influence future decisions and conflicts. Former enemies become allies, whilst new responsibilities emerge from recognition of Goku's unique position as Earth's primary protector against supernatural threats. As this section of the Dragon Ball saga concludes, the stage is set for adventures that will carry our hero beyond Earth's boundaries to face challenges that will test not only his martial arts abilities, but also his understanding of his own identity and purpose in a vast universe filled with powerful beings and ancient mysteries. The lessons learned through confronting evil, loss, and redemption provide wisdom that will guide future decisions, whilst the enhanced abilities gained through intensive training and mystical enhancement create capabilities that open new possibilities for protection and exploration. Most importantly, the preservation of innocence and purity of purpose despite exposure to corruption and violence demonstrates that character represents the most valuable asset any hero can possess, more important than any technique or power level in determining the ultimate impact of their actions on the world they seek to protect. The 3-year period following King Piccolo's defeat represents a transformative era for both Goku and the world he has sworn to protect. This peaceful interlude allows for healing, growth, and preparation, whilst the ominous knowledge of Piccolo Jr.'s existence creates an underlying tension that motivates intense training and vigilance among Earth's remaining defenders. Goku's approach to this preparation period demonstrates remarkable maturity compared to his previous training methods. Rather than simply focusing on increasing raw power, he now seeks to develop wisdom, strategy, and the mental discipline necessary for facing opponents whose capabilities may exceed even his enhanced abilities. His training encompasses not only physical conditioning, but also meditation and philosophical study that deepen his understanding of martial arts principles. The young hero's travels during this period take him to remote locations where he can push his abilities to their limits without risking harm to populated areas. Mountain peaks, isolated islands, and deep wilderness areas become his training grounds as he experiments with techniques and power levels that would prove dangerous in civilized settings. Master Korin's continued guidance provides wisdom and perspective that help Goku understand the broader implications of his role as Earth's primary defender. The ancient cat's experience with previous crises offers historical context that illuminates patterns of threat and response spanning centuries of supernatural conflict. However, Korin's teaching methods have evolved to address the unique challenges posed by Piccolo Jr.'s eventual emergence. The mystical guardian recognizes that conventional training approaches may prove insufficient against an opponent who combines King Piccolo's power with the potential intelligence and adaptability of youth. The introduction of Mr. Popo, Kami's mysterious attendant, provides Goku with access to training methods that transcend earthly martial arts to encompass cosmic perspectives on combat and existence. This enigmatic figure's abilities suggest connections to powers and knowledge that extend far beyond Earth's boundaries. Popo's training regimen challenges not only Goku's physical capabilities, but also his fundamental assumptions about the nature of strength and combat. The attendant's seemingly effortless superiority demonstrates that true mastery involves dimensions of understanding that conventional martial arts barely acknowledge. The revelation of Kami's existence as Earth's guardian deity provides context for understanding the cosmic significance of recent conflicts, whilst establishing new levels of responsibility and authority that extend beyond human governance. This divine figure's involvement suggests that Piccolo Jr.'s threat transcends mere martial arts rivalry to encompass spiritual and existential dangers. Kami's personal connection to the Piccolo lineage creates complex emotional and tactical considerations that influence his approach to addressing the threat posed by King Piccolo's offspring. His wisdom and power come paired with limitations and responsibilities that prevent direct intervention in human affairs. The relationship between Kami and Piccolo represents fundamental questions about the nature of good and evil, redemption and corruption, that extend beyond simple opposition to encompass philosophical explorations of identity and choice. Their shared origins create possibilities for understanding that purely antagonistic relationships cannot achieve. Meanwhile, throughout the world, other martial artists pursue their own intensive training regimens designed to prepare them for the approaching tournament and the challenges it may bring. The global martial arts community recognizes that recent events have elevated the standards of competition beyond anything previously imagined. Tien Shinhan's training during this period involves confronting the philosophical limitations of Crane School methodology whilst developing new approaches that incorporate lessons learned from his defeat by Goku. His evolving understanding of martial arts purposes creates internal conflicts as he questions teachings that previously seemed absolute. The three-eyed warrior's growing friendship with Chiotsu provides emotional anchoring that helps stabilize his transformation from ruthless competitor to something approaching heroic defender. Their relationship demonstrates how genuine bonds can overcome institutional conditioning and enable personal growth. Tien's development of new techniques reflects his changing priorities as he moves beyond mere victory-seeking to embrace concepts of protection and self-improvement. His innovations demonstrate creativity and wisdom that suggest potential for growth exceeding his previous Crane School limitations. Chiotsu's own development involves expanding his psychic abilities whilst learning to apply them for constructive rather than purely competitive purposes. His innocent nature provides moral guidance that helps Tien navigate the complexities of philosophical transformation without losing essential aspects of his character. Krillin's resurrection through the Dragon Balls provides joyous reunion with friends whilst creating opportunities for renewed training and development under circumstances that benefit from recent hard-won experience. His return allows for healing relationships and addressing unfinished business from previous conflicts. The young monk's training emphasizes techniques designed to maximize effectiveness despite his physical limitations compared to fighters like Goku and Tien. His approach demonstrates how intelligence, creativity, and determination can overcome apparent disadvantages in size and raw power. Krillin's friendship with Goku deepens during this period, as shared experiences of loss, resurrection, and renewed purpose create bonds that transcend mere training partnerships. Their relationship provides emotional stability that helps both fighters maintain perspective during intensive preparation for unknown challenges. Yamcha's continued development follows different paths as he struggles to match the enhanced capabilities of his friends, whilst maintaining relevance in an increasingly dangerous world. His determination to contribute meaningfully despite obvious limitations creates both admirable motivation and realistic acknowledgement of personal constraints. The former Desert Bandit's romantic relationship with Bulma provides additional motivation whilst creating responsibilities that influence his approach to training and competition. His desire to protect those he cares about adds emotional weight to his preparation for the approaching tournament. Master Roshi's absence creates a void in guidance and wisdom that forces his students to develop independence and self-reliance, whilst honoring the principles and values he instilled during his lifetime. His memory provides inspiration and direction during moments of doubt or confusion. The Turtle School's philosophical approach to martial arts continues through his students' practice and teaching, ensuring that his emphasis on self-improvement and protection of others survives despite the loss of his direct leadership. This legacy influences the training and development of new generations of martial artists. As the Third World Martial Arts Tournament approaches, anticipation builds throughout the global fighting community, whilst organizers struggle to accommodate competitors whose abilities now exceed the original tournament's design parameters. Safety considerations become paramount as power levels that once seemed impossible become commonplace among top-tier participants. The tournament's format undergoes modifications designed to ensure fair competition whilst protecting both participants and spectators from the collateral damage that advanced techniques might create. These adaptations acknowledge that martial arts competition has evolved beyond simple athletic contests into something approaching supernatural exhibition. Registration proceedings reveal a field of competitors whose backgrounds and abilities reflect the elevated standards created by recent global conflicts. Many participants show evidence of intensive training designed specifically to match or exceed the performance levels demonstrated by previous tournament champions. Among the returning competitors, familiar faces show dramatic improvement whilst maintaining their essential character traits and fighting philosophies. Their development during the 3-year gap demonstrates how different approaches to training and motivation produce varied results in capability and wisdom. New participants include mysterious fighters whose presence creates intrigue and speculation about potential challenges that established competitors may face. Their unknown capabilities and motivations add elements of uncertainty that prevent overconfidence among veteran tournament participants. The preliminary rounds immediately establish that this tournament features combat capabilities that dwarf previous competitions, as routine matches showcase techniques and power levels that would have been considered championship-worthy in earlier events. Spectators witness displays of skill that challenge their understanding of human limitations. Goku's early matches demonstrate his continued growth, whilst revealing how his training has emphasized control and precision rather than simple power increases. His ability to calibrate his responses to match opponents' capabilities shows wisdom and restraint that contrast with his previous all-or-nothing approach to combat. The young hero's interactions with fellow competitors reflect his evolving understanding of competition as an opportunity for mutual improvement rather than merely a contest for supremacy. His attitude influences other participants whilst creating an atmosphere that emphasizes learning and growth over domination. Piccolo Jr.'s entrance into the tournament under the name Ma Jr. creates immediate tension as his obvious power and mysterious background generate speculation about his true identity and motivations. His presence transforms what might have been a celebration of martial arts into a potential confrontation with existential implications. The young demon's early performances showcase abilities that clearly exceed those of ordinary human fighters, whilst revealing tactical intelligence and strategic thinking that suggest careful study of potential opponents. His efficiency and precision create an atmosphere of controlled menace that affects everyone around him. However, Piccolo Jr.'s interactions with other competitors reveal complexities in his character that distinguish him from his father's pure malevolence. His responses to various situations suggest possibilities for development that transcend simple reproduction of King Piccolo's evil nature. The tournament's progression through its early rounds eliminates weaker competitors, whilst building dramatic tension toward confrontations between participants whose abilities represent the pinnacle of current martial arts development. Each successive match raises the stakes, whilst revealing new aspects of fighters' capabilities and motivations. Tien Shinhan's matches demonstrate his philosophical evolution, whilst showcasing new techniques that reflect his changing priorities and understanding. His approach to competition balances competitive excellence with respect for opponents that marks significant growth from his previous Crane School ruthlessness. The three-eyed warrior's encounters with various opponents test both his enhanced abilities and his evolving moral framework, creating opportunities for demonstrating how philosophical transformation influences practical combat decisions. His choices reveal character development that extends beyond mere technical improvement. Chiaotzu's participation provides emotional support for Tien, whilst demonstrating his own growth in both psychic abilities and strategic thinking. Their partnership continues to evolve as both fighters develop greater independence whilst maintaining their essential bond. Krillin's return to tournament competition allows him to demonstrate how his resurrection and subsequent training have influenced his approach to martial arts whilst reconnecting with the competitive environment that originally brought him together with Goku. His performances reveal both improvement and unchanged essential character. Yamcha's matches showcase his determination to remain relevant amongst increasingly powerful competitors, whilst acknowledging the practical limitations that prevent him from matching the enhancement achieved by friends like Goku and Tien. His efforts demonstrate admirable persistence despite obvious disadvantages. The tournament's format accommodates these varied power levels through careful bracket design and modified rules that ensure meaningful competition whilst preventing dangerous mismatches that might result in serious injury or death. Organizers balance spectacle with safety considerations that acknowledge the supernatural nature of top-tier participants. As the field narrows through successive elimination rounds, the remaining competitors represent the absolute elite of current martial arts development, whilst their varied backgrounds and motivations promise confrontations that will test more than mere fighting ability. Their advancement creates anticipation for battles that may reshape understanding of combat possibilities. The quarter-final matches feature confrontations between participants whose abilities have reached levels that blur the boundaries between martial arts and supernatural phenomena. Their contests demonstrate techniques and power applications that challenge spectators' ability to comprehend what they are witnessing. Semi-final rounds pair competitors whose philosophical approaches to martial arts create compelling contrasts that extend their contests beyond mere technical exchanges to encompass broader questions about the proper purposes and applications of exceptional ability. These matches become explorations of different paths to mastery. The tournament's climactic confrontations promise to resolve not only competitive questions about current supremacy, but also deeper issues regarding the future direction of martial arts development and the responsibilities that accompany transcendent power. These battles will influence more than individual destinies. Goku's advancement through the tournament brackets demonstrates his continued growth, whilst revealing how his experiences have shaped his understanding of competition and conflict. His approach balances competitive excellence with wisdom that acknowledges the broader implications of his actions and choices. Piccolo Jr. His progression through elimination rounds showcases abilities that clearly establish him as the tournament's most dangerous participant, whilst creating opportunities for observers to assess his character and motivations. His performances generate both admiration for his skill and concern about his ultimate intentions. Their eventual confrontation in the tournament final represents more than a contest between individual fighters. It embodies the resolution of cosmic questions about good and evil, redemption and corruption that have influenced events since King Piccolo's original emergence centuries earlier. The final battle between Goku and Piccolo Jr. creates a spectacle that exceeds anything previously witnessed in competitive martial arts. Whilst testing both participants' abilities, wisdom, and character under circumstances that will determine not only tournament victory, but also the future safety of everyone they encounter. Their contest demonstrates techniques and power levels that strain the tournament venue's capacity to contain their exchanges whilst revealing the philosophical differences that separate their approaches to strength and purpose. The battle becomes a collision between different visions of what exceptional ability should accomplish. Goku's approach emphasizes protection, growth, and the creation of positive outcomes for everyone affected by his actions, whilst Piccolo Jr.'s methods reflect inherited power, tempered by isolation and uncertainty about his proper role in the world. Their conflict explores whether nurture can overcome nature in determining ultimate character. The battle's progression reveals both fighters pushing themselves beyond previously established limits, whilst discovering new capabilities and insights that emerge under extreme pressure. Their exchanges become educational experiences that influence their understanding of their own potential and limitations. Environmental destruction caused by their confrontation demonstrates the cosmic implications of their contest, whilst creating dramatic visual spectacle that emphasizes the supernatural nature of their abilities. The tournament venue becomes a battlefield where the fate of more than individual ambition hangs in the balance. The fight's resolution comes through a combination of superior technique, tactical intelligence, and most importantly, the moral strength that comes from fighting for others rather than personal glory. Goku's victory demonstrates that character represents the most decisive factor in determining the outcome of conflicts between evenly matched opponents. Piccolo Jr.'s defeat provides opportunities for character development as the young demon confronts the limitations of inherited evil, whilst recognizing the potential for alternative paths that his father never considered. His response to loss reveals possibilities for growth that suggest redemption remains achievable. However, their confrontation concludes not with destruction, but with mutual respect and the establishment of a complex relationship that transcends simple hero-villain dynamics. Both fighters recognize qualities in their opponent that influence their own understanding of strength and purpose. The tournament's conclusion marks the end of one phase of the Dragon Ball saga, whilst establishing foundations for future developments that will test these characters in entirely new contexts. The relationships formed and transformed during competition create bonds that will influence subsequent adventures and conflicts. Goku's victory establishes him as the undisputed champion of Earth's martial artists, whilst creating new responsibilities and expectations that will shape his future decisions and actions. His status as both protector and teacher becomes increasingly important as the world recognizes his unique position. The aftermath of the tournament sees relationships evolving as former enemies become allies, whilst new challenges emerge that will test the bonds forged through competition and conflict. These developments set the stage for adventures that will carry our heroes beyond Earth's boundaries into a larger universe filled with unknown dangers and opportunities. Goku's marriage to Chi-Chi represents personal growth and the acceptance of new responsibilities that balance his role as Earth's defender with more intimate obligations to family and community. Their relationship demonstrates how exceptional individuals can find happiness and stability despite the demands of heroic duty. The wedding ceremony provides a peaceful conclusion to the intense conflicts that have characterized recent years, whilst establishing hope for a future where strength serves protection and growth rather than conquest and destruction. This celebration represents triumph over evil through the preservation of innocence and love. However, the peaceful nature of this resolution suggests temporary as new threats begin to emerge that will test our heroes in ways that previous challenges could not prepare them for. The universe beyond Earth contains dangers and wonders that will require even greater strength, wisdom, and cooperation to address successfully. As the original Dragon Ball saga reaches its conclusion, the stage is set for adventures that will explore new dimensions of power and responsibility, whilst testing the bonds of friendship and determination that have carried our heroes through their greatest trials. The lessons learned and relationships forged during these foundational experiences provide the wisdom and strength necessary for facing whatever challenges await in the vast cosmos that surrounds their small but precious world. The period immediately following the tournament provides time for reflection and adjustment as participants and observers process the implications of what they have witnessed. The exhibition of power and skill demonstrated during the competition has elevated global understanding of martial arts possibilities, whilst creating new standards and expectations for future development. Goku's enhanced reputation, following his championship victory, attracts attention from beyond the martial arts community, as governments and organizations begin to recognize the strategic implications of individuals whose capabilities exceed conventional military assets. His position as Earth's strongest defender creates both opportunities and obligations that extend far beyond personal achievement. The young champion's response to this recognition demonstrates characteristic humility and focus on continued growth rather than satisfaction with current accomplishments. His attitude influences how others perceive the proper relationship between exceptional ability and social responsibility, establishing precedents that will guide future interactions. Piccolo Jr.'s withdrawal from public attention following his tournament defeat creates uncertainty about his future intentions, whilst providing opportunities for character development away from the pressures of competition and observation. His isolation allows for introspection and decision-making that will determine whether he follows his father's path or chooses alternatives. The demon's struggle with questions of identity and purpose reflects broader themes about nature versus nurture that extend beyond individual character development to encompass philosophical explorations of redemption and transformation. His choices during this period will influence not only his own future, but also the safety of everyone around him. However, signs of positive development begin to emerge as Piccolo Jr. demonstrates restraint and even protection toward innocent people during various encounters. These actions suggest that his character remains malleable despite his evil heritage, creating hope for eventual redemption through proper guidance and positive experiences. Chi-Chi's relationship with Goku develops beyond their childhood engagement into genuine adult affection that encompasses both romantic love and deep appreciation for his character and values. Her understanding of his responsibilities as Earth's protector creates a foundation for marriage that acknowledges the demands of heroic duty. Their courtship period allows both characters to explore how exceptional individuals can maintain normal human relationships whilst fulfilling extraordinary obligations to global security. Their success in balancing these competing demands provides hope for others who must navigate similar challenges. The wedding preparations become a community celebration that brings together friends and allies from Goku's various adventures, whilst demonstrating how heroic achievements can create positive outcomes that extend beyond conflict resolution to encompass joy and hope for the future. Ox King's enthusiastic support for his daughter's marriage reflects his confidence in Goku's character and his recognition that exceptional power, guided by pure intentions, represents the best possible protection for loved ones. His approval validates the choice whilst acknowledging the unique circumstances that surround their relationship. Master Roshi's absence from the celebration creates poignancy that reminds participants of the sacrifices made to achieve current peace and security. His memory influences the ceremony whilst providing motivation for continued vigilance against threats that might disturb this hard-won tranquility. The wedding ceremony itself combines traditional elements with acknowledgements of the unique circumstances that brought the couple together and the extraordinary responsibilities they will share. Their vows reflect both personal commitment and dedication to protecting others through their combined strength and wisdom. Bulma's technological contributions to the celebration demonstrate how different types of exceptional ability can work together to create positive outcomes. Her inventions and organizational skills complement the martial arts achievements of her friends, whilst proving that heroism takes many forms. Yamcha's attendance, despite his romantic disappointment, shows character growth and genuine friendship that transcends personal desires in favor of others' happiness. His gracious behavior demonstrates maturity whilst acknowledging the complex relationships that develop among people who share extraordinary experiences. Krillin's participation in the celebration provides emotional continuity with past adventures, whilst demonstrating how resurrection and renewed purpose have influenced his perspective on life and relationships. His joy for his friend's happiness reflects the deep bonds formed through shared trials and victories. Tien Shinhan's presence represents his complete transformation from enemy to ally, whilst showing how philosophical evolution can create genuine friendship even among former opponents. His attendance validates the possibility of redemption whilst celebrating the positive outcomes that result from choosing growth over conflict. The wedding's peaceful conclusion provides a moment of perfect happiness that serves as a reward for all the struggle and sacrifice that preceded it, whilst creating hope for a future where love and protection triumph over hatred and destruction. This celebration represents the ultimate victory over evil through the preservation of human values. However, the tranquil atmosphere of the wedding reception is subtly disturbed by the arrival of unexpected guests, whose presence suggests that greater challenges await beyond Earth's boundaries. These mysterious visitors bring news of threats that will test our heroes in ways that terrestrial conflicts could not prepare them for. The revelation that Goku's true origins lie among the stars rather than on Earth creates profound questions about identity and destiny that will influence his understanding of his role as protector and his relationships with those he has sworn to defend. This knowledge transforms his self-perception whilst raising new questions about loyalty and belonging. Raditz's appearance as Goku's brother provides shocking revelations about Saiyan heritage, whilst demonstrating power levels that exceed anything previously encountered on Earth. His casual dismissal of the planet's strongest defenders as weaklings establishes a new scale of threat that will require unprecedented growth and cooperation to address. The Elder Saiyan's explanation of Goku's original mission to destroy Earth's population creates moral and emotional conflicts that test every aspect of his character, whilst forcing him to confront the implications of his alien nature. These revelations challenge his understanding of himself, whilst reaffirming his commitment to protecting his adopted home. Gohan's kidnapping by Raditz escalates the personal stakes, whilst demonstrating the ruthless nature of Saiyan culture and the depths of cruelty that Goku's people apparently embrace. The threat to his innocent son provides motivation that transcends mere duty to encompass the most fundamental parental instincts. Piccolo's unexpected alliance with Goku against their common enemy represents a dramatic character development that demonstrates how extreme circumstances can overcome even deep-seated antagonism. Their cooperation suggests possibilities for redemption, whilst acknowledging the practical necessities created by overwhelming threats. The battle against Raditz showcases power levels and techniques that exceed anything previously witnessed, whilst demonstrating the cosmic implications of conflicts that extend beyond Earth's boundaries. Their confrontation becomes the first glimpse of battles that will determine the fate of entire civilizations. Goku's sacrifice to ensure Raditz's defeat represents the ultimate expression of his commitment to protecting others, whilst creating profound consequences for his family and friends. His decision to accept death rather than allow greater harm demonstrates heroic character that transcends personal survival. The aftermath of this cosmic confrontation sees Earth's defenders grappling with revelations about alien threats, whilst mourning the loss of their strongest protector. The knowledge that even more powerful enemies approach creates urgency that will drive intensive training and preparation for challenges that exceed current capabilities. Piccolo's decision to train young Gohan during Goku's absence represents character growth that demonstrates how responsibility and care for others can transform even those born from evil. His relationship with the boy becomes a vehicle for his own redemption whilst preparing a new generation for the trials ahead. The year-long training period allows for character development and preparation, whilst building anticipation for the approaching Saiyan invasion. This intensive preparation demonstrates how extreme threats can motivate growth that transcends normal limitations, whilst creating bonds between former enemies. Gohan's remarkable development under Piccolo's guidance reveals inherited potential that exceeds even his father's abilities, whilst showing how proper training can unlock capabilities that might otherwise remain dormant. His growth provides hope for humanity's future defense capabilities. The approaching arrival of more Saiyans creates global tension as Earth's defenders prepare for battles that will determine planetary survival. Their preparations demonstrate both the growth achieved during the intervening period and the enormous scale of the challenges they will face. However, as our tale of the original Dragon Ball saga draws toward its conclusion, the stage is set for adventures that will carry our heroes into realms of power and responsibility that dwarf even the cosmic conflicts they have already faced. The foundations of friendship, determination, and pure purpose that have guided them through terrestrial trials will prove essential for navigating the greater universe that awaits. The relationships forged through conflict and cooperation have created bonds that transcend individual capabilities to encompass collective strength that can overcome any challenge. The wisdom gained through protecting Earth provides the moral foundation necessary for facing threats that could destroy entire civilizations. Most importantly, the preservation of innocence and hope, despite exposure to cosmic evil, demonstrates that character represents the most valuable asset any hero can possess. These qualities will prove more important than any technique or power level in determining the ultimate success of their mission to protect all life from those who would destroy it. As our peaceful exploration of the Dragon Ball universe reaches its end, we are reminded that the greatest adventures begin not with conflict, but with the choice to use strength for protection rather than conquest, wisdom for guidance rather than dominance, and love for creation rather than destruction. These principles will guide our heroes through whatever challenges await, whilst ensuring that their example inspires others to follow paths of righteousness and growth. The gentle conclusion of this tale provides rest and reflection, whilst the knowledge that greater adventures lie ahead creates anticipation for the continued journey of growth and protection that defines the hero's path. Sleep well, knowing that somewhere in the cosmos, champions of justice stand ready to defend all that is good and precious against any force that would threaten its existence. The peaceful aftermath of the Third World Martial Arts Tournament creates a period of global celebration as humanity recognizes the extraordinary accomplishments of those who have dedicated their lives to protecting others. The exhibition of power and skill witnessed during the competition inspires countless individuals to pursue martial arts training whilst providing hope that good will always triumph over evil when guided by pure intentions. Goku's emergence as the undisputed champion establishes him not merely as Earth's strongest fighter, but as a symbol of what humanity can achieve when strength serves righteousness rather than selfish ambition. His victory resonates throughout the world as proof that dedication, training, and moral character can overcome any obstacle or adversary. The tournament's global broadcast reaches every corner of the planet, inspiring children and adults alike to pursue paths of self-improvement and protection of others. Martial arts schools experience unprecedented enrollment as people seek to follow the example set by the world's greatest defenders, whilst contributing to their community's safety and well-being. Piccolo Jr.'s unexpected demonstration of honor and restraint during his defeat provides additional inspiration as it suggests that even those born from evil can choose paths of redemption and growth. His character development offers hope for anyone struggling with dark impulses or difficult circumstances, showing that choice rather than origin determines ultimate destiny. The complex relationship between former enemies who become allies creates compelling examples of how understanding and respect can overcome prejudice and hatred. These transformations demonstrate that cooperation and mutual support achieve more than competition and conflict in building stronger communities and better worlds. Educational institutions worldwide begin incorporating martial arts philosophy into their curricula as educators recognize the value of teaching discipline, respect, and moral reasoning alongside physical techniques. These programs emphasize character development and ethical decision-making as essential components of any complete education. Religious and philosophical organizations find common ground in the tournament's lessons about redemption, sacrifice, and the proper use of power. These themes transcend cultural boundaries to speak to universal human experiences, whilst providing guidance for navigating moral complexities in daily life. Governments begin recognizing the strategic value of individuals whose capabilities exceed conventional military assets, whilst grappling with questions about how to integrate such exceptional defenders into existing security frameworks. This recognition leads to new policies regarding the relationship between superpowered individuals and traditional authority structures. The martial arts community experiences a renaissance as ancient schools and techniques gain renewed respect, whilst innovative approaches emerge from synthesis of different traditions. This flowering of knowledge and wisdom creates opportunities for learning and growth that benefit practitioners at every level of development. Master schools that had lost their way during periods of commercialization or political corruption return to their foundational principles of character development and service to others. The tournament's example provides moral clarity that helps distinguish between authentic martial arts training and mere athletic competition or entertainment. Young practitioners throughout the world find inspiration in stories of friendship, determination, and sacrifice that demonstrate how ordinary individuals can achieve extraordinary things when guided by proper motivation. These examples provide hope whilst establishing realistic expectations about the dedication required for significant growth. International competitions begin incorporating philosophical elements alongside physical contests, as organizers recognize that true martial arts mastery encompasses wisdom and character as much as technical ability. These enhanced formats create more meaningful experiences for participants and spectators whilst advancing global understanding of martial arts purposes. The peaceful resolution of conflicts through understanding rather than destruction becomes a model for addressing disputes at every level of society. Diplomatic initiatives increasingly emphasize dialogue and mutual respect as alternatives to military force or economic coercion. Chi-Chi's role as Goku's partner demonstrates how exceptional individuals can maintain grounding in normal human relationships whilst fulfilling extraordinary responsibilities. Her practical wisdom and emotional support provide stability that enables sustained heroic effort without losing connection to the values being protected. Their courtship and marriage represent successful integration of personal happiness with public duty, showing that heroes need not sacrifice love and family to serve greater purposes. This balance creates sustainable foundations for long-term protection rather than brief bursts of heroic activity followed by burnout or corruption. The wedding celebration brings together allies from every adventure and conflict, creating a gathering that represents triumph over division and hatred. Former enemies share meals and laughter, whilst children play without fear, demonstrating the tangible benefits of choosing cooperation over conflict. Ox King's enthusiastic support for the union reflects the confidence that families can feel when their loved ones ally themselves with individuals of proven character and capability. His blessing represents community approval, whilst acknowledging the unique circumstances that surround extraordinary relationships. The ceremony's blend of traditional elements with acknowledgements of special circumstances creates precedents for how society can adapt to accommodate exceptional individuals whilst preserving essential cultural values. This integration demonstrates flexibility without abandonment of principles. Bulma's technological contributions to the celebration showcase how different forms of exceptional ability can work together harmoniously, whilst her friendship with Chi-Chi bridges different worlds and lifestyles. These relationships prove that diversity strengthens communities when guided by mutual respect and shared values. Master Roshi's absence creates poignancy, whilst his memory influences the proceedings through the values and principles he instilled in his students. His legacy lives on through their actions and choices, ensuring that his sacrifice contributes to ongoing protection and growth. The gathering's peaceful conclusion provides reward for all previous struggle, whilst establishing hope for a future where such celebrations can occur regularly, rather than merely during brief interludes between crises. This vision motivates continued effort, whilst validating the sacrifices made to achieve current security. However, the tranquil nature of this resolution contains underlying tensions as sensitive individuals detect subtle disturbances that suggest new challenges approaching from beyond Earth's boundaries. These early warnings create urgency without destroying the celebration's joy or significance. Ancient texts and prophecies begin manifesting signs that suggest the approach of cosmic events that will test humanity's defenders in ways that previous challenges could not prepare them for. These omens require interpretation, whilst their implications demand preparation for unprecedented threats. Mystical practitioners report unusual dreams and visions that feature alien landscapes and beings of incredible power whose intentions toward Earth remain unclear. These psychic disturbances create unease amongst those capable of sensing supernatural phenomena, whilst providing limited guidance for defensive preparations. Astronomical observations reveal anomalies in space that suggest the approach of objects or beings whose nature and purpose cannot be determined through conventional scientific methods. These discoveries force collaboration between scientific and mystical communities, as traditional boundaries prove inadequate for addressing cosmic mysteries. The first concrete evidence of extraterrestrial interest in Earth arrives through the appearance of a mysterious warrior whose power exceeds anything previously encountered, whilst his casual dismissal of the planet's strongest defenders establishes new scales of threat that require fundamental reassessment of defensive capabilities and strategies. Raditz's arrival as Goku's previously unknown brother provides shocking revelations about Saiyan heritage, whilst creating moral and emotional conflicts that challenge every assumption about identity, loyalty, and responsibility. His explanations of Goku's original mission to destroy Earth's population create profound philosophical dilemmas about nature versus nurture in determining character and destiny. The Elder Saiyan's casual demonstration of power that dwarfs even Goku's enhanced abilities forces recognition that Earth's defenders must achieve unprecedented growth to address threats that operate on cosmic rather than terrestrial scales. His presence transforms local conflicts into matters of planetary survival. The revelation that Goku belongs to a warrior race known for destroying entire civilizations creates internal conflicts, as he must reconcile his alien heritage with his chosen identity as Earth's protector. These discoveries challenge his understanding of himself, whilst reaffirming his commitment to defending his adopted home. Gohan's kidnapping escalates personal stakes, whilst demonstrating Saiyan ruthlessness and the depths of cruelty that characterize Goku's biological people. The threat to his innocent son provides motivation that transcends duty to encompass the most fundamental parental instincts, whilst illustrating the price of heroic responsibility. Piccolo's unexpected offer of alliance against their common enemy represents dramatic character development that suggests how extreme circumstances can overcome deep-seated antagonism, whilst creating possibilities for redemption through cooperation. Their partnership demonstrates that former enemies can become allies when facing greater threats. The battle against Raditz showcases power levels that exceed anything previously witnessed, whilst demonstrating techniques that operate beyond conventional martial arts to encompass energy manipulation and environmental destruction on scales that threaten entire landscapes. Their confrontation becomes Earth's first glimpse of cosmic-level warfare. Tactical considerations during this battle reveal the inadequacy of traditional fighting methods against opponents whose capabilities transcend earthly limitations, whilst forcing innovative approaches that combine wisdom with raw power. These lessons provide foundations for addressing future cosmic threats. Goku's decision to sacrifice himself to ensure Raditz's defeat represents the ultimate expression of heroic character, whilst creating profound consequences for his family and all those who depend on his protection. His choice demonstrates that true heroes prioritize others' welfare over personal survival when necessary. The technique required for victory involves mutual destruction that eliminates both combatants, whilst ensuring that the immediate threat cannot continue its mission of planetary conquest. This desperate measure suggests successful, but at costs that reverberate throughout Earth's defensive community. The aftermath of this cosmic confrontation sees survivors grappling with loss, whilst processing revelations about alien threats that exceed their current ability to address effectively. The knowledge that more powerful Saiyans approach within 1 year creates urgency that drives immediate preparation and training initiatives. Piccolo's assumption of responsibility for training young Gohan during Goku's absence represents character growth that demonstrates redemption through service, whilst preparing the next generation for challenges that will exceed even their predecessors' trials. His relationship with the boy becomes a vehicle for his own transformation. The intensive training regimen designed for Gohan pushes the limits of what a child can endure, whilst unlocking inherited potential that suggests capabilities exceeding even his father's remarkable abilities. This development provides hope for humanity's future defensive capabilities, whilst establishing new standards for martial arts education. Gohan's remarkable progress under Piccolo's guidance reveals how proper training can unlock dormant capabilities, whilst character development ensures that exceptional power serves righteous rather than selfish purposes. His growth demonstrates the importance of wisdom alongside strength in creating effective defenders. The year-long preparation period allows other defenders to pursue their own enhancement, whilst building coordination and teamwork that will prove essential for addressing threats that exceed individual capabilities. This collective development creates stronger foundations for planetary defense. Krillin's training focuses on maximizing effectiveness despite physical limitations, whilst developing techniques that exploit intelligence and creativity rather than relying purely on raw power. His approach demonstrates how determination and innovation can overcome apparent disadvantages in capability. Tien Shinhan's preparation incorporates lessons learned from philosophical evolution, whilst building upon enhanced understanding of martial arts purposes. His development demonstrates how changing motivations influence technical advancement, whilst creating more complete martial artists. Yamcha's efforts to remain relevant amongst increasingly powerful allies showcase determination, whilst acknowledging realistic limitations that prevent matching the extraordinary enhancement achieved by others. His persistence demonstrates admirable character, whilst establishing boundaries for what dedication alone can accomplish. The approaching Saiyan invasion creates global tension, as Earth's defenders recognize that conventional military forces cannot address threats of this magnitude, whilst preparing for battles that will determine planetary survival. These preparations reveal both growth achieved during the intervening period and the enormous scale of challenges ahead. Vegeta and Nappa's arrival represents the fulfillment of cosmic threats, whilst demonstrating power levels that confirm the inadequacy of current defensive capabilities. Their casual destruction and contemptuous dismissal of Earth's resistance establishes stakes that encompass not merely personal survival, but the continuation of all life on the planet. The battles against these Saiyan invaders showcase techniques and power levels that transform landscapes, whilst revealing new dimensions of martial arts capability that transcend earthly limitations. These confrontations become laboratories for discovering enhanced abilities under extreme pressure. Strategic coordination becomes essential as individual fighters recognize that even their combined capabilities may prove insufficient against opponents whose power exceeds imagination, whilst their tactical experience spans multiple planetary conquests. This realization forces innovation in both technique and cooperation. Piccolo's sacrifice to protect Gohan demonstrates complete character transformation whilst eliminating one of Earth's most powerful defenders at a crucial moment. His death suggests that redemption can be achieved through service, whilst his loss creates gaps in defensive capability that survivors must somehow compensate for through enhanced effort. Goku's return from otherworldly training brings enhanced abilities, whilst his confrontation with the Saiyan elite showcases power levels that finally match cosmic standards. His battles demonstrate how intensive preparation and pure motivation can achieve growth that seemed impossible under normal circumstances. The Great Ape transformation reveals new aspects of Saiyan heritage, whilst creating tactical challenges that require creative solutions and desperate measures. These revelations about genetic capabilities provide both opportunities and dangers that influence future development and training approaches. Vegeta's retreat following his defeat establishes him as a continuing threat, whilst demonstrating that Earth's defenders have achieved sufficient growth to address cosmic-level challenges when properly prepared and coordinated. His survival ensures that future conflicts will test enhanced capabilities against evolved opposition. The invasion's aftermath sees Earth beginning recovery, whilst its defenders process lessons learned about cosmic warfare and the responsibilities that accompany planetary protection. These experiences provide foundations for addressing future threats, whilst establishing new standards for defensive preparation. However, as our exploration of the original Dragon Ball universe draws toward its natural conclusion, we recognize that the saga continues beyond these foundational adventures into realms of power and responsibility that span galaxies, whilst testing bonds of friendship and determination forged through terrestrial trials. The relationships established through conflict and cooperation have created foundations that transcend individual capabilities to encompass collective strength that can overcome any challenge, whilst preserving the values and principles that make protection worthwhile. These bonds ensure that Earth's defenders remain grounded in humanity, whilst achieving superhuman capabilities. The wisdom gained through protecting Earth provides moral frameworks necessary for navigating cosmic responsibilities, whilst the enhanced abilities developed through intensive training create capabilities that open new possibilities for exploration and protection throughout the universe. These achievements represent beginnings rather than endpoints for heroic development. Most importantly, the preservation of innocence and hope, despite exposure to cosmic evil, demonstrates that character represents the most valuable asset any hero can possess. Whilst these qualities prove more important than any technique or power level in determining ultimate success in protecting all life from those who would destroy it. As our peaceful journey through the Dragon Ball universe reaches its gentle conclusion, we carry with us the understanding that true strength comes not from power alone, but from the wisdom to use ability responsibly, and the courage to face any challenge for righteous purposes, whilst these principles guide heroes through whatever trials await in the vast cosmos. The knowledge that greater adventures lie ahead creates anticipation, whilst the foundations laid through these formative experiences ensure that future challenges will be met with proper preparation and unwavering determination to protect all that is good and precious in the universe, whilst inspiring others to follow paths of righteousness and growth. Sleep peacefully, knowing that somewhere among the stars, champions of justice continue their eternal vigil against darkness, whilst their example lights the way for countless others who choose to use their strength for protection rather than conquest, their wisdom for guidance rather than domination, and their love for creation rather than destruction. The legacy of these first adventures resonates throughout the cosmos as tales of Earth's young defenders spread among civilizations that recognize the rarity of beings who combine exceptional power with pure motivations. These stories inspire hope, whilst demonstrating that heroism transcends species and planetary boundaries to encompass universal principles of protection and service. Future generations will inherit both the enhanced capabilities developed through intensive training and the moral frameworks that ensure such power serves righteous purposes rather than selfish ambition. This inheritance represents humanity's greatest gift, whilst establishing foundations for continued growth and protection throughout an infinite universe. The Dragon Balls themselves become symbols of hope, as their proper use demonstrates how ultimate power can serve creation rather than destruction when guided by wisdom and compassion. These mystical spheres remind all who encounter them that the greatest wishes involve helping others rather than advancing personal desires, whilst their very existence suggests that the universe favors those who protect rather than exploit. Educational institutions throughout the galaxy begin studying Earth's unique approach to developing defenders who combine overwhelming power with unwavering moral commitment. These analyses reveal principles that can be adapted to address local challenges, whilst preserving essential elements that make such heroes effective and trustworthy. The philosophical frameworks developed through terrestrial conflicts provide guidance for navigating cosmic responsibilities that span multiple civilizations and species. These principles demonstrate how universal values can transcend cultural differences, whilst creating cooperation that benefits all participants, rather than favoring particular groups or interests. Ancient prophecies speak of champions who will emerge from small worlds to influence cosmic events, whilst their pure motivations attract divine favor that amplifies their natural capabilities. Earth's defenders embody these predictions, whilst proving that destiny serves those who choose righteousness over convenience. The techniques developed through Earth's unique training methods spread throughout martial arts communities across the galaxy as practitioners recognize their effectiveness, whilst adapting them to address local threats and challenges. This dissemination ensures that Earth's legacy influences countless worlds, whilst preserving the essential principles that make such training effective. Time itself seems to favor those who dedicate their lives to protecting others, as opportunities for growth and enhancement appear precisely when needed, whilst circumstances align to provide the resources and allies necessary for addressing increasingly dangerous threats. This pattern suggests divine oversight that rewards pure motivations. The friendships forged through shared trials create bonds that transcend normal relationships to encompass spiritual connections that enable cooperation and understanding beyond ordinary human capability. These enhanced relationships provide emotional stability whilst creating strategic advantages that prove decisive in cosmic conflicts. Knowledge gained through protecting Earth provides insights into universal principles that govern relationships between power and responsibility, whilst these understandings enable navigation of cosmic politics without corruption or compromise. This wisdom becomes increasingly valuable as responsibilities expand beyond planetary boundaries. The innocent joy that originally motivated Goku's interest in martial arts survives enhancement and cosmic responsibility to provide emotional grounding that prevents corruption whilst maintaining connection to the essential humanity that makes protection worthwhile. This preservation of innocence represents triumph over forces that seek to destroy hope and wonder. Children throughout the universe find inspiration in stories of young heroes who achieved impossible things through dedication and friendship, whilst maintaining kindness and hope despite exposure to cosmic evil. These examples provide guidance whilst establishing realistic expectations about the effort required for significant achievement. The gentle nature of this tale's conclusion reflects the peace that comes from knowing that good has triumphed over evil, whilst justice prevails when champions possess both sufficient strength and pure motivations. This tranquility provides rest, whilst the knowledge of continuing vigilance ensures ongoing security. Advanced civilizations recognize Earth as a source of wisdom and protection, whilst seeking alliance with beings who combine exceptional capability with trustworthy character. These relationships create networks of mutual support that strengthen universal security whilst preserving independence and cultural diversity. The medical and scientific communities study the physiological changes that accompany enhanced martial arts training, whilst developing techniques that can be safely adapted for others who seek similar development. These advances benefit all, whilst ensuring that enhancement serves positive rather than destructive purposes. Artistic communities throughout the cosmos find inspiration in tales of heroism and redemption that demonstrate how even the darkest circumstances can be overcome through determination and proper support. These creative works spread hope whilst preserving essential stories for future generations who will face their own challenges. Religious and spiritual traditions discover common ground in the universal principles demonstrated through Earth's defenders, whilst recognizing that divine favor supports those who use strength to protect rather than dominate. These realizations create cooperation that transcends sectarian boundaries while strengthening fundamental faith. The agricultural and environmental sciences benefit from understanding how enhanced beings can work in harmony with natural systems, whilst their protection ensures preservation of biodiversity and ecological balance. This knowledge enables sustainable development whilst preventing the destruction that often accompanies technological advancement. Economic systems evolve to acknowledge the value of protection and service, whilst recognizing that some contributions transcend monetary compensation. These adaptations create more equitable distribution, whilst ensuring that essential services receive appropriate support and recognition. Legal frameworks develop to address the unique circumstances surrounding superpowered individuals, whilst balancing individual rights with collective security needs. These innovations provide guidance whilst preserving justice and preventing the abuse of exceptional capabilities. Communication technologies advance to enable coordination between defenders across vast distances, whilst ensuring that information reaches those who need it without falling into hostile hands. These developments enhance security whilst facilitating the cooperation necessary for addressing cosmic threats. Transportation systems evolve to support rapid response to emergencies throughout known space, whilst maintaining efficiency and safety standards that protect civilian populations. These advances enable heroes to fulfill their responsibilities whilst minimizing disruption to normal life and commerce. The exploration of space accelerates as enhanced defenders provide security for research and colonization efforts, whilst their protection enables peaceful contact with new civilizations. These endeavors expand knowledge whilst creating opportunities for mutual benefit and cultural exchange. Diplomatic initiatives benefit from the involvement of beings whose power commands respect, whilst their moral character ensures trustworthy representation. These advantages enable resolution of conflicts that might otherwise escalate into devastating wars, whilst creating foundations for lasting peace. The preservation of historical records ensures that future generations understand both the achievements and sacrifices that secured their freedom, whilst these accounts provide guidance for addressing challenges that may arise in times to come. This knowledge prevents repetition of past mistakes, whilst inspiring continued dedication to protection and service. Cultural exchanges flourish as enhanced security enables safe interaction between previously isolated communities, whilst shared values create understanding that transcends superficial differences. These connections strengthen universal cooperation, whilst preserving unique traditions and perspectives. The development of enhanced individuals continues throughout the universe. As Earth's example demonstrates, both the potential for extraordinary achievement and the importance of maintaining moral foundations that ensure such power serves positive purposes. This proliferation creates stronger defenses whilst multiplying opportunities for assistance and cooperation. Educational curricula evolve to incorporate lessons about character development alongside technical training, whilst emphasizing the responsibilities that accompany exceptional capabilities. These programs produce graduates who combine competence with wisdom, whilst ensuring that enhancement serves society rather than personal ambition. As this gentle tale reaches its peaceful conclusion, we carry forward the understanding that true heroism lies not in the possession of extraordinary power, but in the choice to use such capabilities for protection and service, whilst maintaining the innocence and hope that make such service meaningful and worthwhile. The eternal vigilance maintained by champions of justice ensures that peace can be preserved, whilst their example inspires countless others to follow paths of righteousness that strengthen the universal community, whilst protecting all that is precious and good from those forces that would destroy or corrupt it. Rest now in the knowledge that love triumphs over hatred, that wisdom guides strength, and that hope illuminates even the darkest corners of the cosmos, whilst heroes stand ready to defend all that matters most in this vast and wonderful universe we share together.